Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have my review of Saints Row the Reboot 2022 up. I'm really sorry that this took me a few months to make. I've seen some comments of people saying that I forgot about the review. I never forgot about the review. I was planning on making the review from day one that I played the game, but I wanted to get through the game, and I also wanted to do all the side activities, cover as much stuff as I possibly could in order to have the best understanding of the game that I possibly could. I wanted to at least give the game a chance, play it fully, and finish it. And if you watch my playthrough of, the story mode that I did, a few months ago, you know how I feel about, a good chunk of the game already. The purpose of this review is not to just hate on the game for no reason, but it's to hopefully get Volition to make a better game in the future and encourage them to develop a game that the fans want and that the community actually wants, because huge amounts of the community really don't like this game, and people are saying this is the worst Saints Row game in the series. There's a lot of things for me to cover in this review, a lot of stuff. There are some good things in this game. I don't want this review to be totally negative. I'm not just a hater, not just somebody that just, not one of those people that just says, oh, GTA is better, Saints Row sucks. I actually think Saints Row 2 is the best gangster game of all time, and I think that game is actually better than all of the GTA games. Not saying GTA is a bad game, but I'm saying that when they did the old Saints Row, I think that was, when Saints Row was king. But anyways, let's do this review. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and if you do, drop a like. It does help me to make more content like this, so let's start off the review here. So let's start off by talking about the city. The new location is called Santo Alesso, which is heavily inspired by a combination of Reno and Las Vegas. It is a desert city, but it's not massive. I wouldn't say it's a small city, but like I said, it's not massive. And the big lake that's in the middle makes it seem bigger than it is, because you have to either drive around the lake or take the bridges through the lake. This is the first Saints Row game that has an actual countryside. It's a massive desert, but the problem with the desert is that it has no life to it. The desert was my least visited region of the map, and I only went there during missions. I didn't even feel like looking for collectibles. The desert really has no significant areas except the Marshall Prison. It's boring. Now you might be asking, okay, Professional, what else could they have done to make the desert more interesting? How about some towns and unique environments? There's a ghost town, but it's a ghost town. There's really nothing else here but roads and hills. To be fair, there are a few activities and stores around, but it wasn't enough for me to really want to go to the desert. The desert should have had towns and an airstrip, some kind of place where, air vehicles can land, helicopters and planes. There should have been a small airstrip somewhere, because this would encourage you to get air vehicles. Look at the map in GTA San Andreas. For a 2004 game, their desert was much better than the desert in a 2022 game, Saints Row. San Andreas was successful in its countryside because it had multiple towns around that didn't just have stores, but oftentimes had small safe houses that you could buy and visit. They had a pay and spray and small activities around these towns. San Andreas also had different environments in its country. It had a big forest region, grasslands, mountains, big bodies of water, and the desert. So my question is, if this is a fictional city, then why couldn't they have like a desert on one side of the map, but then have like a big forest on the other side of the map? There's a desert on the left and the right side. Couldn't have at least mix up the environments a little bit? To be fair, one of the parts of the desert is considered the Badlands, which is a little bit different than a normal desert, but it's just still not enough, to keep you interested. One of the environments, I personally think one side of the map should have been a completely different environment than the other ones. Maybe like some small towns and forest regions, something at least there. But with these roads, it just makes the desert itself really boring. And Saints Row 2022, the whole game only has one plane, and it's the MDI, this futuristic jet, and you don't unlock it until the final mission. But I'll come back to this later. Even GTA 5's countryside is really good. North of Los Santos is Sandy Shores, and one of the main protagonists, Trevor, he lives there. He has a business there, and on top of that, he can buy an airstrip in Grapeseed where he smuggles guns. A small town north of Sandy Shores. And then there's Paleto Bay to the north, which you could argue is the most boring location in GTA 5, but even Paleto has some activities up there, like a bar you can own, and the triathlon. It also has the massive Mount Chiliad in between it and Sandy Shores. The point is, the countryside in these games, both GTA San Andreas and GTA 5, has life to them. There's towns to explore, and having an airstrip in them makes all the difference. It encourages travel. The desert in Saints Row was just boring and devoid of life. It has decent graphics, sure, at times, but there needs to be more stuff out here. You can't have just a bunch of roads and a few hills and a few missions here and expect it to be called a giant map. Now let's talk about the city. The city has a few major districts. The first is where you start the game at your apartment. It's called Mercado. and it's an extremely forgetful area. There's nothing significant that happens here or makes you remember this area. I know the apartment mission started out here, but you never feel like this place is home. In the original Saints Row game, you felt like Saints Row was your home, that's where you started out, and I didn't even know what the neighborhood was called. I had to go back in my game and check, that's how forgetful it is. Okay, but this isn't where the Saints are formed, right? They're formed at the church. Well, that neighborhood is called Old Town West, and it's even more forgetful. They never mention the neighborhood, and most players aren't going to remember what it's called. This is completely different to the other Saints Row games like 1 and 2. In Saints Row 1, we start out in Saints Row, and Saints Row is a very memorable neighborhood. It's the base of the Saints, and the hood in Saints Row. Even though in Saints Row 2, you start in a different area, the Saints in the new neighborhood, I clearly remember it, and it's called the Red Light District. These districts are unique. The Red Light District, for example, it feels like an actual gang neighborhood, a neighborhood where you would see gangs. You see plenty of graffiti, prostitutes, homeless people, rundown buildings. You can tell this isn't a great area, and Shivington and Sunnyvale are the same. But in the Saints Row reboot, you don't feel this exact same thing from these areas. There's no such thing as the hood in this game. I wanted to see like a neighborhood like that. They don't make you feel like it's gang controlled or anything like that. Sure, you see the gangs walking up and down the street, but there's nothing really to show that it's their neighborhood. The other areas in the game are the industrial area, which is controlled by the Panteros. And I'll talk about these gangs when I talk about the story. Their area is called Smelterville, and it's a heavily industrialized area, a lot of factories and warehouses. I wish we could have seen something like the Brotherhood storyline, where we have several missions where we fight through all these old abandoned warehouses and factories, but we do get one mission called the Forge later on. I'll mention that later, but you don't really see a lot of action in these buildings. Then we have the Marina District to the north. The Marina District is controlled by the Idols, and this district, like the name says, is a civilian dock. But the dock itself is much smaller and doesn't have a cool boardwalk like the one in Saints Row 2. The one in Saints Row 2 has a small mall that follows the marina walkway and the hotels. Here, it's much smaller, and a few stores along the docks. But to be fair, Saints Row 2 didn't have that many stores here either, but it just looks a lot better in Saints Row 2. The docks just look nicer, and when you walk down them, you see plenty of people ready to go to the beach, but here, you don't really see that. It's about the city not feeling too alive in the reboot. There are some mansions to the north, but unfortunately, you cannot own any of these mansions, even though the Idols, a rival gang, do. Then we have the downtown district, which is the base of Marshall. This is one of the better looking parts of the city. It has many tall buildings and squares, and feels more like a city. In Saints Row 2, however, we have Union Square, which is their version of Times Square. The reason that I keep bringing up Saints Row 2 is to show how much better the map was for a 2008 game. And you can see just how much more alive that area is. The downtown, you see all the billboards, you see all the people, the cars, it just feels more alive. Here in the downtown, sure, you see some activity, but it just doesn't have that same feeling that Union Square did. And then lastly, we have El Dorado, which is the casino strip. This is my favorite part of the map, and I think it looks the best out of all the neighborhoods, but it's also the most disappointing. The district has a main road with several casinos on it, which is a clear reference to the Las Vegas Strip. Why is this area the most disappointing part of the map? For one simple reason, and that is that you cannot enter any casino. That's right, there are no enterable casinos in this game, and I'm just so baffled by this. Why can't you enter any casino in this game? And almost all the reviewers that I've seen, they haven't mentioned this. Think about it. So Santo Alesso is supposed to be a casino city inspired by Las Vegas and Reno. Yet you can't enter any of the casinos? What the hell? There's even a casino that says Poseidon's Palace, a clear reference to Poseidon's Palace that was paying protection to the Ronin in Saints Row 2. But guess what? In Saints Row 2, you can enter that casino. You can. And in Saints Row 2, not only is there a mission at Poseidon's Palace, but you can also enter it and play poker and blackjack. Why is there not one enterable casino in this game? And they couldn't even make one mission revolving around the casinos? There's not even one mission in regards to them. You would think if you're this big gang that's taking over the city, you would at least get in on the casinos, right? A casino city with no enterable casinos. Wow. San Andreas, when they did Las Venturas, did that perfectly, giving you 2 casinos, the 4 Dragons and Caligula's Palace. Why can't this game do the same? Overall, I'm very disappointed in the map because of the boring countryside but the wasted potential in these districts. Saints Row 2 was the perfect map. It had so many districts that I remember, like the Red Light District and the rundown neighborhoods of Shivington and Sunnyvale. It had the nuclear reactor island and the prison island. It had a big marina with hotels and a casino. It also had a big downtown that was very bright, especially at night. It had the museum district, suburbs, trailer park, the university district, airport, which Santo Leso, again, has no airport. How can you have a city with no airport? The point is, Stillwater was such an amazing map, and it even had a giant underground mall.
Slaves in a tiny sweatshirt. Next time I'm slashing your tire.
That's how much love was put into that city. I personally think Santo Alesso is a better city than Steelport, and hear me out on that, because at least we have a city with a bit more unique districts, because Steelport to me was just a bunch of skyscrapers and copy and paste look-alike buildings on a few islands with highways. However, if we were to compare it to Stillwater, Santo Alesso stands no chance. So while I do think it's a little bit better than Steelport, Stillwater is still a 10 times better city. And as for the graphics, they aren't that bad, they're okay. Sometimes the game does actually look decent, and one of my favorite things is when there is sandstorms. They are rare, but the game actually does look the best when these sandstorms come in.
You're blocking traffic, moron.
Run these wheels!
That's effective.
However, despite everything that I covered with this map, I haven't even covered the worst part, and that is the horrible rendering. Buildings and other infrastructure have terrible rendering issues. It's like a PS3 game at times, maybe even a PS2 game. And I'm not playing on some crappy PC, I'm playing on the PS5 version. How can you play on the PS5 version and this stuff happens? Is this not next gen? This is just disgusting. Now let's talk about the story. Oh man, where do I start with this cringe nightmare? This is the worst story in the entire Saints Row series, 100%. And when I asked my subscribers what they thought, they agreed overwhelmingly with me. Now, you might be saying that my subs are biased and that they don't like Saints Row, but they love Saints Row, the old Saints Row. Out of all the playthroughs I've done on this channel, GTA was always the most popular, but the second most popular playthroughs were always Saints Row, with Saints Row 1 part nearly at 100,000 views, and my Saints Row lore videos at over 200,000 views each. The point is, my subs love Saints Row, for anyone that tries to reject my poll. Now, in Saints Row the Reboot, we have 3 new gangs. Let's start out with the Panteros. The Panteros are a muscle car gang that drive around, also on chopper motorcycles. They are the Reboot's attempt at a gang like the Brotherhood. They specialize in melee attacks. Nina, at the start of the game, is a member of this gang. Now, while the premise of this gang sounds cool, it fails in its delivery. The reason is because we barely see their boss Sergio. We only see Sergio in 3 missions, and he also speaks on the phone. We see him for the first time in the Convoy Marshal mission. He takes a monster truck to try to run you over, and it is an introduction until he crashes. Then we see him dump Nina's car, and lastly, when he dies, which that is just such a disappointing death, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Then we have the Idols, which are arguably the worst gang in the game. The Idols are an anarchist group, and it's implied that they are an anarcho-communist group, and yes, this is an actual ideology, which makes no sense. Anarchism is the belief in no government, no laws, no rules, where communism is the idea of a society being all one class, the working class, and everything is owned by the state. There is no private industry or private property. Everyone works for the state. So both are the extreme opposites, where anarchism is no government and communism is total government control. This is the Idols and their leaders. This is the Idols' ideology, apparently, and their leaders are called the Collective. They have they're a group of masked individuals who wear electronic facial helmets. Kevin is also a member of their gang. Now, the reason that the Idols are the worst gang is because their goals are so weird, but it's also that they wear such bright-colored outfits. They wear a bunch of LED lights, glow sticks, and rave lights on their outfit. At night, you can easily see this gang. This would make you an easy target, and on top of that, it just looks stupid. But the worst part is their leadership. Like I said beforehand, the Collective is a bunch of masked individuals wearing LED helmets. They have no personality. It just, we're the Collective, we hate capitalism. That's, their whole story. A mysterious enemy only works when you give them a good backstory and a twist on who they are. Imagine if they did it later in the story, where you find out one of the Collective members or one of the characters in the story. Not necessarily a main character, but a side character you overlook. Somebody in the background. Some kind of plot twist. I wish we could have seen the Collective's leadership. I wish that we could have seen a cutscene from their perspective and what they are planning, like in the old Saints Row games. One thing that I hate about these gangs is that there are no cutscenes from their point of view. The old Saints Row games, all the way up until Saints Row the 3rd, had cutscenes from the enemy gang's perspective. We got to see what they were up to, but most importantly, we got to see them really angry when we did something that hurt their gang, like this. That's definitely gonna hurt them really bad. This cutscene's really good now.
Everybody, get out!
Back in 2008, when people still purchased CDs.
Perhaps they did not understand you.
What's up, guys?
The Saints raised my farm.
That's some shitty luck.
A helicopter-mounted machine gun has nothing to do with luck.
Well, how... Yo, can you cut that shit out? You're freaking me out. How did they find out about the farm?
Why don't you tell me?
I don't know what...
Stop lying.
Dude, I said I don't...
And he said, stop lying.
I'm telling you the truth, man. I don't know how they found out.
Then you are not very useful, are you?
I don't know how they found out, but I got some ideas.
Enlighten me.
I used to dig this bitch Shondi, and there's a chance, a small fucking chance, that I might have gotten stoned and told her about the farm.
Where is this Shondi?
Word is she rolls with the Saints now.
Let him go. Veteran child, you will go kill this Shondi. If you fail to do this, Mr. Sunshine will burn you alive. Does this sound fair? Excellent. Let's be on our way.
Oh, Yep, Mr. Sunshine is definitely the scariest gangster in Saints Row 2 in my opinion. The reason these cutscenes were awesome is because we had 3 different storylines in Saints Row 1 and 2, and an epilogue at the end. We got to see a gang like the Brotherhood. We got to see how really arrogant they were at the start, and then desperate at the end. We get to see these gangs fall apart from their cutscenes, from their perspective. Saints Row the Reboot has none of this. There are no cutscenes from the enemy gang's perspective, and when you kill the collective, that's just it. They're just a bunch of bullet sponge bosses. And the final gang that we have is the Marshal, an arms-dealing company with its own mercenary military force. The idea of an arms-dealing gang sounds cool, but they should have had guys in suits and having more modern military gear like Merryweather in GTA 5. That's how you do a private military company. Here they have futuristic fighter jets and laser weapons. It's their attempt at Stag in Saints Row the Third. And even though I don't like the futuristic stuff, the original Stag was so much better. Probably the only good thing about Marshal is that they have the most interesting bosses. Out of all the gangs in the game, their bosses suck except Marshall. Atticus is a ruthless businessman. He's a pretty interesting character. I wish we would have gotten more screen time with him, but he was the only rival boss that I actually liked except Nawali, but his gang is small. Gwen, an officer in Marshall, she's also a pretty interesting character, but she's actually ruined later in the LARP missions, which I'll cover in a little bit. So to start off in the story, the main character, the boss, is actually in another gang. He or she is a mercenary with Marshall, as they are going after Nawali, an outlaw who has his own gang in some abandoned ghost town. Now, the idea of this sounds cool, but it's so poorly executed. Why? Because the idea of starting out in another gang, it seems cool, you're not in the Saints, and it gives you a completely different perspective, it's unique, I get that. And you'll have falling out with the gang, and eventually you start your own. This is a different perspective, and you don't get paid a bonus for killing the Wally. But the problem is that right after the introduction, it's so bad, and the most cringe moment that I have seen in any game. This is not how you introduce a main character. The boss starts ranting about not getting a bonus, and his rants, the way the developers wrote this script, it's meant to be funny, but in reality, it's just plain stupid. Just listen to this.
Fall in line, my big sweaty fucking ass. Fall in line, my big sweaty goddamn motherfucking ass.
Okay.
Shit.
Is there a way for me to zoom in a little bit with the driving?
Shit and piss.
What? Okay, what is...
Piss and vinegar in a goddamn cocktail shaker, sweat, spit, snot, scum, blood, and bile all on the rocks with a twist of fucking lime.
What? Okay.
All in line. Huh.
You know, when the boss got scary and, like, when the boss got really angry in, like, Saints Row 2, that was actually scary. This, I was just like, what is he saying right now? That's basically that. Then the real horror starts, is when the boss starts calling his roommates and arrives home.
You have 3 new messages.
Hey, it's Kev. I'm baking up a slamming congratulatory brunch for when you get home to celebrate your first day on the job. It's gonna be dope. Oh, and it's official. I'm gonna be spinning at that Idols party I told you about, so hope you can come. TTYL.
Hey there, it's Nina. So excited about your new gig. I thought you'd want to know, I heard back from the museum. They went with someone else for the junior art curator job, so looks like I'm still stuck with Los Panteros. Anyway, I'm glad one of us had a good day at least. See you soon.
Hey, it's Eli. Congrats on your first day as part of the workforce. Speaking of which, when you asked to borrow my copy of Be Your Own Boss, I assumed it was because you wanted to read it, not to level out the coffee table. So let's talk about that when you get back. Can't wait to hear about all the HR forms I'm sure you had to sign.
The introduction to these characters is some of the worst that I've ever seen. They are supposed to be gangsters later on? This is like a bunch of Twitter users trying to form a gang. And the first thing we see is Kevin cooking and talking about a waffle maker? What the hell?
Oh, everything smells amazing, Kev.
You know what would make it smell even better?
Hey man, if you want a $300 waffle maker, you can buy it with the exposure the idols pay you in. Don't expect us to chip in.
I've told you before, the Idols are trying to build a post-capitalist society where money is not a concept.
Yeah?
What?
Then why don't you go run off and join the commune?
What did he just say?
Showering. Are you gonna help me get the waffle maker or not?
As an investor, I don't like wasting money.
You're wearing a fucking bow tie.
Okay, I will throw in $20 for a waffle maker.
Nina?
Good for 10?
Who helped you move your forged paintings last month?
Fine, 15.
What sort of waffle maker can I get for 35 bucks?
Presumably one that makes fucking waffles?
Hey, the wage slave is back.
How was your first day? Were the other mercenaries nice to you?
You know, as far as hired killers go, I'd give him a 7.
You look like you could use a mukmosa.
Thanks, Eli.
Seriously, how's the job?
It's the murder business. Fundamentals don't change, just the uniform.
I can tell you love it.
Okay, I don't have to love it, I have to pay my student loans.
I'm in.
So I'm guessing that means the pay's good.
It's supposed to be.
I have to pay my student loans?
Bonus today.
Dude, what the fuck?
And what's the deal with the student loans? This is actually a part of the story. It's mentioned a few times, but what the hell? What's the point of them going to college if they're just gonna get rich through criminal activities? What's the point of going to college at all? The boss's college degree certainly didn't help him out of his financial situation. Wonder what he went to college for. The cat is also massive cringe, and its name is Snickerdoodle. Eli is cringe too when he talks business.
I played a little fast and loose on the job, and, well, my CEO wasn't a fan.
You gotta be kidding me.
Swear to God, this lady walked right up the set of an 80s action movie. I was half expecting her to call me Rook and threaten to take my badge.
Are we gonna make rent?
We'll make rent, but we just gotta be a little more creative.
Last time we got creative, I got stabbed 3 times.
Hey, it would have been 4 times if Nina and I hadn't showed up.
It would have been 0 times if you were on time.
This is true. Look, this is really not a big deal. We just knock off a payday loan place. No one gives a shit if people rob those bastards.
You have a job now. You could actually just take the loan.
Eli, don't do business with morally bankrupt companies.
You work for Marshall.
Brunch is a time for friends and mimosas, not debates on morality.
All right, all right.
Man, this was really fucking good, Kev.
Thanks. I was worried I added too much pepper.
No, seriously, this is perfect. The only way this could be better is if you put on a fucking shirt.
Dinner and a show, baby.
Oh, please.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm cringing so bad right
Okay,
now.
brunch is done, dishes are clean. Let's go rob a payday loan place.
And you know how we should celebrate afterwards.
Karaoke.
Yes!
Karaoke? These guys are supposed to be gangsters. All of these characters are massive cringe, and they have almost no character development the entire game. There's a scene where you try to teach Eli how to shoot guns, but even though you teach him how to shoot, he doesn't put that skill to use later in the game. So in the second mission, they're actually talking about paying rent, and the mission is called Making Rent. Even after you leave the apartment, the characters don't stop being cringe. Eli complains about your car leaving a carbon footprint. Into the gang, and you come in here, and literally the first thing that they're doing is they're talking about like just breakfast and just student loans, and this guy's talking about capitalism. It's
So, Nina, we taking your project car?
Fuck no, I'm not risking my baby over rent. We're boosting cars from down the street.
making rent. Is that what the mission is called?
Ooh, can we take a hybrid?
Eli, I love that you're worried about fuel efficiency, but I'm thinking acceleration is gonna matter more.
Your carbon footprint always matters.
Just take that yellow one.
And then when the robbery happens, they could have done this so much better, but it actually just shows how stupid the characters were. This robbery is the most cringe, stupidest thing that I've ever seen. It's a miracle they managed to escape. Why is this robbery so bad? Let's check off the list of everything they did wrong. They let the security guard go. I just gotta get him the country suit, but...
So I made them watch while I broke their dad's... Ah, shit.
Walk away, or the phrase dead-end job gets literal.
That's a problem because he can call the police. I'm not saying they should have killed him, but at least restrain him during the robbery. Then they let a witness go. Yeah, that guy's gonna probably call the police.
I don't have much. We don't want your money, just his. Get out of here.
You done fucked up.
Again, she can call the police. Why let her go? The next thing is, they don't have masks.
I've been getting that a lot lately. Where's the safe?
If you're lucky, the cops will get to you before my people do.
What the hell? You're robbing a cash loan place. It's gonna have CCTV cameras all over the place. Your faces are now all over it. So on top of that, they don't use gloves.
Nice left.
Been practicing.
I can tell.
Safe's back here.
The cops are gonna swarm this place
guy has
soon,
passed
really
me a
quickly.
bunch
I'll
of
tell
files.
why.
Pick it up, Eli.
I'm just saying, he could have at least made us work for it.
No gloves? Yeah, this is...
Same plan as last time.
And guess what else happens? Kevin flags the boss. Flagging basically means you point your gun in an unsafe, unintended direction, so he accidentally waves it at the boss. This shows you these people are morons, and would have been caught easily. And what's with the karaoke nonsense? Cars are still not okay. There we go, it's one disabled. The other one, okay.
Ha! I took care of them. How's everybody else?
Eli and I made it home with the money. You ready for karaoke?
Start warming up those voices. Nina, where you at?
Just changed cars and headed home.
You just murdered a bunch of cops escaping, and then brag about doing karaoke later tonight. Now, I said in my playthrough that gangsters don't do karaoke. I've had a few people, they brought up Sleeping Dogs. But Sleeping Dogs is completely different. Way in Sleeping Dogs does karaoke to infiltrate Benny's club. He pretends to want to audition for the club, and that's how he gets access to the VIP room. He also sings karaoke to impress the record producer from America, and none of these are cringe. Certainly not like this. And the situation gets worse. You left the getaway vehicle in Panthero's territory, and then you're somehow surprised when they trash the car. Then the boss gets tricked and his motorcycle tires popped, which the boss in Saints Row 2 would have never fallen for this. And we have one of the worst car scenes that I have ever seen. Yeah, the boss from the older Saints Row games would not have fallen for that. I like how his hat was also stuck in the ground for a little bit.
Well, shit.
Freeze!
Down on the ground!
Okay, what's she gonna do now? What?
You called for a ride?
You said you didn't want to risk your car.
I said I didn't want to risk it for rent. I'd risk anything for you dummies.
Okay, I don't, maybe you guys think that that's cool, but I didn't think that that was cool. I think that was just stupid.
So, is this how it's gonna be every time we have to pay rent?
I thought that went great. Yeah, okay. Maybe I can go back to running my old side hustles for extra cash? Don't worry. We'll figure it out. This town is full of opportunities, if you know where to look.
I said I wouldn't risk my car for rent. That's the introduction to the characters. This is how they're introduced. Let's take a look at the introduction to the characters in Saints Row 1.
Knows what we need to do. Now those bitches be riding around here thinking they own these streets. I don't care what flags they flying. Rollers, Carnales, Vice Kings. No one's making this nigga scared to walk the road. We about to lock this shit down right now.
All right, yeah!
Yeah!
Fuck yeah!
Who's
Who
this
the fuck's
guy?
this guy?
Troy and I found him. We're gonna see if he'll ride with us.
Julius, if he wants to run with the Saints, he gotta be canonized.
Hey, he's right, Julius. Everyone had to do it.
You ready for this, player?
So as you guys saw, in Saints Row 1, you have to get beaten up to join the gang. And when you meet these characters, you know they're all gangsters right from the start. Even Troy, who's an undercover cop, still pulls off a much more believable personality of a gangster than these characters do. Then we have the introduction to the characters in Saints Row 2, which again was awesome.
What the hell is going on?
I had to do some canonizing. Hold up. You're next.
Wait, what?
Sorry about that.
Where'd you find these guys?
Like I said,
Canonizing means you have to fight to
guys
your
actually
initiation
hang out
into
down here?
the gang.
I don't know. Add a flat screen, some throw pillows, and a hookah, and this place would be all right.
You definitely need a stripper pole in this bitch.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So what do we do now?
we listen.
All right, everybody listen up. We got some serious shit to discuss. The Saints used to own Stillwater, and it seems like the only motherfuckers that remember that is me and Gat. I think it's time we give those other crews a wake-up call. Now, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of shit's changed since I've been out of the game, so I'm gonna need some help. Pierce, you're on the Ronin. I wanna know who's calling the shots and what businesses they running.
Done.
Shandi, you got the Sons of Samdi.
It's gotta be them.
Fuck you say?
It's cool. I got this.
Carlos.
The Brotherhood. I'm on it.
All right. Once we're done here, talk to one of these guys. They'll have something for you to do. It's our time now. Let's get this shit started.
My god, what the hell happened? The characters in the reboot are like college kids hipsters. They seem like characters that would spend all day on Twitter inside Starbucks and then obsess over celebrities and be late to class than be actual gangsters. I wanted to give these characters a try, but they're just too cringe for me. And I don't mind new characters, but if you add new characters, then at least make them actual saints. Hell, they didn't even need to add new characters, but reboot the old characters in a new universe. There isn't one bad character in the old Saints Row games. They were all awesome. Reboot Julius, reboot Troy, Dex, Johnny, Pierce, Shondi, Carlos, Lynn. These are already a great cast of characters that you can bring back. Ryu, one of my viewers, mentions how well Modern Warfare rebooted the characters like Gaz, Captain Price, Griggs, even antagonists like Al-Assad and General Shepard, and they did it so well. Saints Row already had a great diverse set of characters. I don't know why they didn't use them, and I don't understand why some people defend these characters. Oh, they complain about rent and student loans because they want you to relate to these characters, professional. That's why they talk about student loans. They are gangsters. We're not supposed to relate to gangsters, and I don't relate to them at all. I would rather play as a scary gangster boss than cringe boss.
Where is everyone?
I didn't need everyone. Just you.
Because I'm the only one who could get it done.
Sure, let's go with that.
Sergio, huh?
You're familiar with Panteros?
I mean, my roommate's one of them, so yeah. Oh, don't give me that look. Rent's expensive.
Is this gonna be a problem?
I mean, per the roommate code, I'm gonna have to fold the laundry for 2 weeks, but beyond that, I'm golden. What are they moving?
Antiquities, mostly. The Nawali was waiting to sync up with them before he was captured.
I just cannot take this writing seriously, especially when the boss mentions to Gwen that he's roommates with a Pantero and that rent is expensive when he talks to Gwen. Don't give me that look, rent is expensive. Okay, this scene makes no sense. Here's my question for all the characters. How did they know each other in the first place? It would be much more believable if they were all childhood friends and then they all joined separate gangs, but we don't have that explanation. Instead, it's just roommate code. And think about it this way. The boss just admitted to Gwen that his roommate and friend is a Pantero, and she is sending him on a mission to scout a Pantero convoy and then tells him to attack the convoy later on. Don't you think that mission might be compromised? The guy would have clear conflicts of interest. And this rent dialogue, ew.
Rent? Not now. Listen, it's a free country. It's not rent-free country.
Leave me alone.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
This still makes no sense to me. I mean, guys, just think of Saints Row 2. Imagine a Samdi, a Ronin, and a Brotherhood member renting an apartment together. Would they be best of friends? No, they would murder each other. So my question was, these characters, like Kevin, were they even loyal to the idols in the first place? Was Nina even loyal to the Panteros? I'm not talking about when they formed the Saints, but even beforehand, they would just warn each other about what the other gang was doing. So these characters are in rival gangs, all living together, and their bosses are perfectly fine with that? What kind of stupid bosses are these guys? Even if they are never told them that they live with a rival gang member, Nina is a top mechanic in the Panteros. They would know where she lives. There'd be no hiding that she's roommates with an idol and a Marshall member. The game actually does give you one of the best missions when you're with Marshall, when you attack the Panteros convoy and you steal the Hummingbird Codex. It was actually fun. I had fun on this mission, jumping from vehicle to vehicle. The boss fight at the end wasn't the best, but it was an overall fun mission. But it's soon ruined by the boss texting Nina about it, and not to be mad, he killed her gang. Seriously? Oh, I'm sorry I killed your friends, Nina. My bad. Just send her a text message. Seriously? Now, at this point in the story, you get promoted by Atticus, and he assigns you as a security, head of security, protecting the Hummingbird Codex. The place gets attacked by the Panteros, which Nina warns you about, and gets attacked by the idols, which Kevin tries to warn you. So basically, you fight your way through the building, killing dozens of idols and Panteros. Then the Hummingbird Codex gets stolen, and you get fired.
I know I made a little mess protecting the museum, but we have to look at the big picture. The threat's been neutralized, Miss Star is safe, and as you can see, the Codex is secure.
A mess? Yes, there is a goddamn mess.
I don't understand.
Well, you were wasting time with her. The idol stole the Codex and replaced it with a fake.
Sir, I wasn't wasting time, I was saving—
Do you think I give a shit if Myra Star lives or dies?
Atticus.
You are replaceable. You are replaceable. That was not.
Sir, I can lead a team to retrieve the Codex.
The hell you can.
You're fired.
What?
You're done. If I see you on Marshall property again, I'll have you shot. We'll make this right, Antonio. I promise.
Later in the game, when you form the Saints, you go and steal the Hummingbird Codex back from the idols and you brag about it. Now the problem here is, we have absolutely no idea what the hell the Hummingbird Codex is or why it's important at all. Flippy in his review, I recommend also checking him out, I'll have his review down below, talked about it. And it's just such a stupid thing when you really think about it. It's an important plot point that was just forgotten. Why did the characters mention the Hummingbird Codex so much? Why is it so special? How can you talk about this codex so much and it's never revealed why it's so important to all the gangs in the first place? Some people say it's old art, but why would a gang like the Pantheros or Idols care about it? Atticus seems like a collector, he's rich, so maybe he would care about it, but why would the other gangs care? And when you go to save your friends, Nina tries to call off Sergio, telling him to stop. Nina claims that Sergio is only doing this because he's embarrassed, and he asks him to stop his attack.
Nothing. You?
No.
Yo,
Fuck, I got voicemail.
My phone's
Same
on
here.
silent, so leave a message after I drop the beep. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Kev, call me.
I'm gonna call Sergio. Maybe I can put a stop to this.
He'll never listen.
It's worth a try.
Well, look who decided to get back to me.
Sergio, you gotta call this off. My friends are in there.
I'm the friend you should be worried about.
You are taking Los Panteros to war just because you think Marshall and the Idols embarrassed you.
You're saying some shit you're gonna regret, Nina.
Call it
Just
off,
because
or I
the-
quit.
You ain't gonna quit.
Try me.
Now this is one of the worst parts in the game, and it shows you just how badly written the story is. He's embarrassed, so he's about to attack the idols and the boss? What? The reason Nina's dialogue makes no sense here is because think about what just happened a few missions ago. Sergio had dozens of his guys killed, tons of his trucks blown up, his own monster truck crashed and destroyed, and he got robbed of his stupid Hummingbird Codex. Then when he tried to get it back, the idols and Marshall killed a dozen of his guys again. He probably lost like 50 guys in this whole thing, and that's embarrassing? So having 50 of your gang members killed, your vehicles blown up, and your precious artifacts stolen from you is just embarrassing? So what's the next step, Nina? What is it? When is it justifiable for Sergio to act if he's losing 50 people isn't? When is it okay for Sergio to declare war if having 50 people die and multiple vehicles blown up isn't? In fact, Sergio is actually completely justified in his attack, and I agree with him. You know it's bad when you're agreeing with the antagonist. He got attacked, he lost his guys, so he's retaliating. And that's embarrassing, Nina? What the hell? So at this part of the game, the characters all leave their gangs and escape and decide to form the Saints. And of course, they ask the cat Snickerdoodle.
Yeah, what the fuck is happening?
Guys, we're really good at what we do. So why are we doing it for other people and not ourselves? I mean, you know how to start a business. Kev knows how to get attention. I'm a walking murder party. And Nina? Nina's the best goddamn driver in the business. Who could touch us? Hell, we just took on 2 crews at once and walked away just fine.
I was shot.
And you're getting a sticker, so quit bitching.
I'm in.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Eli?
Guys, this is a little crazy.
What happened to there being a difference between surviving and thriving?
Well, I survived being shot, and now I want to thrive without being shot again.
Nina's down. Kev's down. Snickerdoodle is definitely down.
Oh, do not bring her into this.
Eli, this cat suffers no fools. And neither should you.
Oh.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, it's a yes.
It's our time now. Let's get this shit started.
So now you form the Saints and you take over an old church. This church doesn't get upgraded until halfway through the game, but I have to say, the church actually looks really good later on, and I really didn't have a problem with its design. I think it looks fine, and I think a lot of the rooms look cool. The mission to get the church starts out cool. You do something the Saints would normally do, you cause some destruction, and then threaten the guy who has the land deed. The problem is that this mission is almost ruined because of Kevin's stupidity. It's almost a 20-minute mission, and I think the moment you get the deed, it should have ended, but instead, Kevin posts about it on social media, and he was doing this during the mission.
Fine, take the deed. Take my whole damn briefcase. Just leave me alone.
Pleasure doing business with you. This car is also ours now, too, so get the fuck out.
Oh, what the? He just jumped out. Okay, yeah, no, jumping out of a speeding car like that.
The deed and the briefcase.
Yeah, plus we blew up some shit, did some sick drifts, and stole the church.
All in a day's work. Ready to head home?
Home? I like the sound of that. Ooh, I'm gonna post about it.
No.
Yada-da,
No, Kevin,
hashtag
no.
Church, hashtag new dates
No.
list, hashtag list. And posted. Oh, look. I already got a like.
Seriously? How many followers do you have
there? DJ Kev has his fans.
This game is literally like, what would it be if, like, Twitter users were gangsters? This is what this game would be like. It's just, oh my god. Come on, Kev. Oh, that mission was kind of cool, just now. Like, you threatening the guy, scaring the guy. It's like something that the actual Saints would do, but then Kevin just ruined it. Oh, man. Ugh.
Hey, check it out. Cool graveyard.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm getting a call. Oh, shit. You better hear this.
Hi, Kevy. We saw your post. Congrats on the new digs. We adore your takedown of that gentrifying dick.
Who is that?
The Collective.
The Idols want to throw you a housewarming party.
Fuck. Their parties get violent.
No thanks.
I wasn't asking. Duh. See you soon, Kevin.
Oh, man.
I'll get the door. Hang tight.
Seriously, how dumb are these guys? I wouldn't be surprised if they would post that they are planning on attacking another gang on social media as well. You form the Saints, and now you start doing missions. Each character has you do missions towards their gangs, like Nina against the Panteros, and Kevin towards the Idols, where Eli's missions are something else. I'll get into that in a little bit. But don't mistake this. It's not like Saints Row 1 or 2, where it's 3 different storylines. In those games, the storylines were always the best, because you had separate gang storylines, and then you had an epilogue at the end. But ever since Saints Row the 3rd, they think that for some reason that we want one big story. I always liked it when you focused on each gang individually. But anyways, let's talk about the worst and best missions that each character offers. The worst mission that Kevin offers is the Fast and the Foodiest. In this mission, Kevin calls you and tells you that he has an emergency. But what is his emergency, you might ask?
Hey, you busy? I need your help with something. It's really important.
I'm here. What's up?
We need to get over to FB's ASAP. They're re-releasing the Mecha Burger.
The what?
The toy. Don't you remember? It looks like a hamburger but turns into a robot. Limited edition re-release. Let's go.
I have no words right now. This is what he calls over his gang boss as an emergency.
Way back when.
Everybody had one the summer I was 9. It was the most popular kids' meal toy FB's ever produced.
And you want to relive your childhood? Sure, no problem.
That's right, he wants you to take him to get a kid's meal. What? Who wrote this script? You have to then go to the drive-thru pushing cars out of the way.
Oh, shit. Do you think they're all here for the Mecha Burger?
Doesn't matter if they are. We can just muscle up to the head of the line.
Welcome to FB's. Can I take your order?
Yes. Hi.
Is he?
Can I please have a chicken brat box meal with a Mecha Burger toy? In purple, if you have it.
We're out of Mecha Burgers.
Shit. Well, there's another FB's.
Is he
in Marina
shooting
Del
the?
Lago. Let's try there.
While in the drive-thru? What? What are you doing, Kevin?
Yes.
What was the point of that? And then you have to defeat a bunch of idols outside the fast food place, and the drive-thru employee tells you about the idols complaining about capitalism. Man, this enemy gets annoying. Okay.
That's the last one. Let's get my Mecha Burger.
Hey, my friend here needs a chicken kids meal with a Mecha Burger toy. In purple.
They're all gone. Those horrible people in pink stole the entire shipment. They said something about striking a blow against capitalistic materialism and soggy French fries.
Oh.
Fucking idols.
They really are a bunch of thugs, taking joy from children.
Fuck children. They took joy from you. Buckle up.
Like how the drive-thru lady remembered everything that they said about fighting against capitalistic materialism. At the end of the mission, you get the toys back, and it's just so boring. Kevin's best mission is Idol Threat. This is the mission where he gets kidnapped, and you beat the crap out of a bunch of Idol members, and then scare one of them into telling you where Kevin is. You then tie up his porta potty, and you ram through a bunch of Idol tents. This mission leads you to fighting to the top of the Santo Alesso sign, and then jumping off and attacking the idols at their mansion. It's actually a pretty good fight, and pretty cool. You defeat a collective member here, but there's one thing I don't get about this mission. Why couldn't you take over the mansion after you cleared the idols out? Sure, it's not going to be your base, but at least it could be a personal safe house. You could in Saints Row 1, and in Saints Row the 3rd, you took over the Syndicate's penthouse. So why couldn't you have a cool house here? I just think that it was wasted potential. As for Nina, her worst mission is called Nina's Car. This mission starts out interestingly. Nina says that her car has been stolen, and it was Sergio who did it. You fight through a bunch of Panteros to get her car back, and then you go to confront Gabriel, but he refuses to talk. And then the boss suggests to damage their car, at least that's what I thought at first. What is this? Okay.
Hola, Gabriel. Where's my car?
It's not here.
No digas pendejadas. We both know you chopped Sergio's special projects.
I don't think he's gonna talk.
He's our only fucking lead.
Wait, what did you say about Los Panteros? Shoot one in the face and they're dead.
But fuck up their car, and they're nothing.
Wait, what?
Oh wait, what am I doing? Okay, I'm confused. What am I doing right now?
That was my grandma's bumper.
My
car! What are you doing?
I'm customizing his car, and so he's...
You don't fuck with the man's grill. You just don't.
What?
Oh, my hood. My beautiful hood. Okay, I'll talk. Sergio took your car to the quarry.
What? Oh no. We gotta go now.
Okay, wait. So I literally thought...
Now, to the quarry.
I don't get it. What's that mean?
That's right, in this mission, I started smashing up the car. But instead, you have to customize his car? Are you serious? What the hell? Are the Saints a bunch of wussies or something? Nina says we need to find the car now, but instead of smashing it up to get him to talk, you have to customize his car in the wrong way? Think about this. What gangster would customize someone's car to get them to talk? I can imagine Johnny would take a bat and just completely smash the car. But okay, in the world of the Saints Row Reboot, changing the paint on someone's car scares them more than smashing it. Then when you go to save the car, you don't make it in time, and the game completely fails at making you feel any emotion. I did kind of sympathize with Nina, but the problem is that this is the saddest moment in the entire game.
No!
That's right, the saddest moment in this game is when Nina's car gets dumped. This comes nowhere close to what we had in Saints Row 1 and 2. Let's play the saddest moment in Saints Row 1 right now.
Hey, I think we stopped moving. You listening? You even alive? Say something. Ow! I'll take that as a yes. Where the fuck's my lighter?
This is one of the darkest moments in Saints Row 1 now.
What are you doing driving Lynn's ride, Mr. Sharp?
I'm glad you could make it, Donnie. There's something I want you to see.
Stay calm. We're gonna get out of this.
Lynn?
Donnie, listen to me! I swear to God!
Lynn!
Take a deep breath and count to 10, Donnie.
Count to 10? You just shot my girl!
Yes, it's tragic. Could you give me a hand here?
Why did you...
Lynn was working with the Saints. Now, would you give me a hand? This car is heavy.
Donnie, where are you going?
Children.
Donnie driving away in that scene is probably what saved his life.
Stay calm. We're gonna get out of this. I think I found my lighter. Did you hear that asshole, Donnie? He said I was his girl.
And this is the saddest moment in Saints Row 2. Now this is really messed up. Ah. I was so shocked when I played this as a kid because I didn't expect this to happen at all. As you can see, I know that it was Nina's mom's car, but it came nowhere close to the sad and disturbing moments that we had in Saints Row 1 and 2. There's just no emotional moments, there's no disturbing moments where something crazy happens, like, Shogo getting buried alive, or, or Jessica, Meryl's girlfriend, who her car got, crushed. She got crushed in the car of Meryl's monster truck. You don't have any, crazy scenes like that in the story. Nothing significant. But Nina's best mission, I will say, is the Forge. Now, the Forge actually feels like a Saints Row mission. You go in on the Revenge after Nina's car was destroyed, and you start wiping out the Panteros. You go right into their base. And then Nina actually has her best moment in the game. And Nina is actually the only character out of the boss's friends that had a pretty cool and badass moment. Check this one out.
What the fuck are you doing, Nina?
Esto es por ti, mamá.
That was Nina's best moment in the game. You go through the Forge, you're just taking out all the Panteros. You go through the Forge, you're fighting a bunch of them, but then you eventually come up on a boss, and this is one of the Panteros elites, which is basically a huge enemy with a sledgehammer. And it's a very boring enemy. You just constantly roll out of the way, and you just shoot, roll out of the way, you just shoot. It's just a bullet sponge boss. The ending to the mission is satisfying, though, where, you blow it up, and you just see yourself drive out. But the problem with this is, like I said earlier, there's no gang cutscenes from the enemy gang's perspective. Like, I was expecting to see a cutscene where Sergio finds out that the Forge had gotten destroyed, and he just starts raging and getting really angry, but no, we don't have anything like that. I wanted to see what his reaction was to, destroying the Forge, but, of course, we don't get anything like that. And as for Eli, He has the worst missions in the game, which are the LARP missions, the live-action roleplay missions. These are missions where you roleplay in teams in some post-apocalyptic Mad Max-style event. The missions, you don't actually kill anyone in them. Instead, people pretend to die, and you fire foam guns. Yes, foam guns. Even the takedowns are massive cringe.
And with a final breath, our hero dies.
Pow, pow, pow. Let's go.
Where are they?
Oh, it is such sweet sorrow.
Yeah, I still don't know really what to think of these missions. They're just weird. You do see Gwen again, and when you fight her, you seem to defeat her, but she keeps cheating, and the boss says that the Gwen I knew wouldn't cheat, and then he apologizes to her, and she admits that she lost.
Eat my bolt!
Okay. Okay, Gwen's about to be taken down now. Hopefully she doesn't cheat anymore.
No, this isn't you, Gwen. What happened to the anal retentive, by-the-book, ass-kicking buzzkill that I kind of respect a little sometimes?
God damn it. You're right. How did I fall this far? God, you make me so crazy.
Jesus, I never meant to break you. If the crown means that much to you, take it.
Don't fucking patronize me.
Is he apologizing?
You won this time. I'll take that crown off you next year.
That'll shut him up. Victory is mine.
I think Gwen was ruined here. She should have died or given up in the Marshall missions. She was one of the few interesting characters, and they made her cringe. And then at the end of it, we see the worst cutscene ever. Gwen at least was the best part of this, you know, seeing her again. Get to the Dust King? Okay.
No, please! I'll give you anything. Riches, power. Just name your price.
I come for your crown.
You? A min-maxing knave? Never.
R2? To hell? What am I watching right now? What the hell was that?
The king is dead. Long live me. Move.
So...
Okay.
Are you gonna buy anything?
One chocolate milk and a packet of beef jerky.
Ah. My god. Fight. Now, I find out later on that this was actually parodying the longest death scene in a movie, but it failed in its delivery. The LARP missions weren't funny. They were just annoying, and I was hoping they would end as soon as possible. You literally have a futuristic mercenary faction that wants you dead, the Panteros want you dead, the Idols want you dead, and this is apparently the most important thing you have to do now. Now, even though Eli doesn't have that many good missions in the game, one of the missions that he was involved in and the other characters are involved in is one that I actually really like. And that mission is called Aggressive Recruiting. And aggressive recruiting, if it didn't have the stupid Saints Row Reboot stain on it, it would have actually been a regular Saints Row mission. It actually was a really good mission. It was. It was one of the few missions that I really did enjoy in this game. And aggressive recruiting basically takes you to Boot Hill. Boot Hill is basically like a scary version of Professor Genki, which is actually really cool. Take a look at this cutscene here.
Welcome to Boot Hill, where you are the show. Murder your way through my playground while the world watches in real time. I have one rule: leave your weapons behind, killer. Everything you need will be provided. It's kill or be killed, survival of the fittest. Slay your way to the top and become the Boot Hill champion. Hope you've said goodbye to your mama, because it's showtime!
So Boot Hill is this big island that's in the middle of the map with a bunch of abandoned buildings and mines in which a bunch of criminals just fight each other and kill each other on the island. It's like a kind of like a survival island. And it you know, has tasks, it has objectives for you to do. And when you're actually going through the mission, it's really cool. Like I said, it's Professor Genki, but with a horror twist to it. You do this mission to actually prove yourself and to try to gain more recruits for the Saints, and it does work. It does help. So it was definitely one of my favorite missions in the game, but I'm still pissed off. And you're probably wondering, why are you pissed off if you enjoyed this mission so much, Professional? The reason I'm pissed off is because it was such wasted potential. They basically have this big island right here in the middle of the map, and they do absolutely nothing with it afterwards. Are you kidding me? It's only one mission. It's only one mission in the game. Boot Hill. That's it. Aggressive recruiting on the Boot Hill Island. Only one mission. Why couldn't they turn this into an activity? Why couldn't this be something like Professor Genki on this island again? You would have had like different tasks, different routes on the island, stuff like that. It just had so much potential for this island. You know, why would you make this big island here and, you know, do this pretty cool mission for it and then just leave it as it is and just completely forget about it? Sure, you can visit the island again, but there's nothing to do on the island. Maybe there's a few collectibles on it, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing really to do on the island, so I personally think that I personally think it was just such a wasted potential. They could have just done way more with the island, and to just abandon it afterwards, it didn't really make any sense to me. Now, as for the Marshals, their storyline ending is probably the best scene in the game. And in this, in the mission, you actually hijack a Marshal tank. You cause a bunch of destruction and chaos, and you drive down their stock. Now, the tank is actually one of the few vehicles in this game that actually handles well. And when you actually drive over vehicles, you don't just push them out of the way or just blow them up like in other games. You'll actually crush them. And this is one thing I like. Even though I don't like the handling of a lot of the other cars, I'll talk about that in my glitches part. I do like the handling of the tank. I think it was done good, and I like how it crushes vehicles. Monster trucks also do this, where you can crush vehicles with them. So, basically, you cause a bunch of chaos at the Marshal tank, you drive down their stock, and then what happens is Atticus actually shows up, and you have the option of firing or killing him.
What the hell do you think
Atticus.
you're doing?
You're just in time for the vote.
You think you could fire me? My family built this business. My name is on the goddamn building!
Our stock price is rock bottom, and our shareholders want your head.
It's the Saints! They exposed the frontier. They robbed my train. They ruined my good name!
We've done the risk assessment, and you are a liability.
Bullshit! This company's nothing without me.
The motion is to terminate Atticus Marshall and appoint me chair of the board. All in favor?
All opposed? You have a tie. Now what are you gonna do?
Let's ask the tiebreaker.
Shoot Atticus or fire Atticus. Oh, wow, they give you a choice here. I'd say fire Atticus. That's probably pissing him off even more than killing him.
Atticus Marshall, you are fired.
He did the same thing to you.
Hands off me! You haven't heard the last of Atticus Marshall!
Yes, I'm sure we'll hear you hollering all the way down to the lobby.
So I think the story behind this mission was great, but it also, there's also some really bad parts. There's one part in the game where you try to hijack a train in the storyline that's carrying a ton of Marshall cash, and you decide to break out Nawali, the same crazy criminal you arrested, while you were still with Marshall. The mission itself isn't bad, but the start of it is, where the Saints are playing a board game deciding on it. Yeah, they're playing an actual board game. I cannot imagine the Saints from Saints Row 2 sitting down and playing a board game. I just cannot imagine that. When you break into the prison, you have to walk past the guards quickly. Well, to be fair, Saints Row never really had a stealth feature, but when you bust Nawali out and you escape, it's actually cool, and it was an interesting part, and it actually made me laugh in this section.
They're chasing me out of the airspace.
Ah, so you only planned half a rescue.
Find another way out, okay. Well, this is kind of crazy. Shows us how much resources the Marshals have.
There! We're out of the prison.
And how will you get out of the canyon?
To the left. Which is taking us back to the prison shit.
No, we can drive across the roof.
My plan exactly.
That actually was a little funny, yeah, I will give them that.
I'm a beast.
One joke that I actually didn't find kind of cringy, that, and we're back in the prison.
Woo! That was fun, huh? You hungry?
Nawali is the best character in this game, in my opinion, at least at the start of it. And he's one of the few well-written characters. But, some bad things happen to him later on, which I'll explain, and he gets ruined. But at least for most of the game, he's a pretty well-written character. And I actually did a poll, and you guys actually said he was your favorite character in the reboot, the character that you didn't actually hate, like some of the other ones. He's the Johnny Gat in this game, basically. A cold-blooded, fearless fighter, and he even gets creeped out by the Saints, who tell him to do team-building exercises.
You're not wearing a shirt.
Less shirt, more power.
I'm not sure that's how it works.
Yeah, don't try to figure it out. I'm Nina. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, a pleasure. So, shall we plan the heist?
No.
I thought you called me here because you wanted to prepare for the robbery.
Correct.
So we are planning the heist?
No.
Okay, I must admit, I'm confused. What are we doing?
Team building.
What?
What?
Look, you don't know us, we don't know you, but we're putting our lives in each other's hands, so we need to be on the same page. Eli threw out the idea that we should spend a day doing some team-building exercises. So we can really get a sense of camaraderie.
We have hats.
I thought we agreed to use the fleur.
This is better.
I'm with Nina.
I have so many questions.
And that, my friend, is what team building is all about.
Nawali's probably thinking to himself, I'm so done with this, or that he wants to kill them. Like, it's, oh my god. Yeah, let's do team-building exercises. We break this dangerous convict out of prison to help us with
Check
this,
it out. The best RV money.
train heist, and
Shotgun! Everyone get in!
And we're gonna do team-building exercises. Get into the RV? What?
Well, this vehicle is well stocked with beer, but I don't see any guns.
Nope. No guns today.
So, it's to be knife work, then.
What? No, we're just gonna have a regular non-murdery bonding day with friends.
Everybody gets to choose one activity they want to do.
Oh my god.
We all go do it.
I'm up first, and I brought the spray paint. I know a place in Mercado that's just begging for a Saints mural.
Isn't that...
That's right, you have to take him on team-building exercises. But he helps out greatly during the heists, and he kills Sergio. Okay, so this guy is Sergio, that's the leader of the Panteros. Okay, wow, Nawali took him down like he was nothing. Now, Sergio's death was a joke. We had no character development with him. These gang leaders like the Collective, Atticus, and Sergio are all defeated in a matter of 3 to 4 missions. Each gang only has like 3 to 4 missions before you bring them down, where the gangs in Saints Row 2 all had 11 missions each, and on top of that, 4 strongholds, meaning 15 missions each. While Sergio's death was stupid, it at least showed how capable Nawali was. I feel like he was the only real gangster in the Saints. At the end of the heist, the characters act like it's a slumber party but with money.
He was a nice guy. Sad to see him go.
He carved out Sergio's heart.
Okay. He was an intense guy.
So,
sad to see him go.
Hey,
they just gave him 1 gold bar?
Today.
Okay, well,
we should do
that's still worth a lot of money, but...
celebrate.
What do you have in mind?
Oh, I don't know. The money fight!
Oh, what?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down there, buddy.
We'd almost kill Kev.
I was in the moment.
Money fight? What the? Are these children?
I'm so sorry, Kevin.
Buy me a stand mixer and all is forgiven.
Deal.
What, are they gonna have a slumber party with the cash next? It's just, man. Hitting each other with pillows full of cash, right? My god. That cutscene was all okay until that part. New weapon, increased health and combat, new outfit. Okay. Money fight! Yeah, no. Now, in the epilogue of the game, you're throwing a big party, which was in the beginning, but then it flashed back to the rest of the story. Nawali shows up, and surprise, surprise, he betrays you with the knife you gave him.
This is for the best. Do not worry. I'll keep our friends safe.
So I'm like confused right now. Like, why is he wants to take over the Saints? Like, what is he trying to do exactly? Now, this scene is the worst in the entire game. You are hallucinating so many dumb things from a waffle maker to a board game.
Waffle iron. Did we ever get that for Ken?
Waffle? Oh my god.
Can't remember.
Thanks for the rescue. Really owe you one.
Forget it, man. We're family.
Oh, this is cringe right now. What kind of board game is this? Gangsters are playing this?
Welcome to the party.
Glad to be here. How can I help you?
I've got almost a full collection of elephants, but the baby ran away. Got a second bear for you if you can find it for me.
1 baby elephant coming up.
Find the baby elephant? Okay, what?
Did the tiny little elephant outrun you?
My god, this is just... Yeah, I don't even know what to say. This is just massive cringe right now.
I didn't know we were playing with the snake expansion.
Don't blame us. You're the one who bought it.
Okay, come here, elephant. Come on now. There we go.
What? Where'd it go now? That's how stupid this scene is. The devs are trying to make you laugh. Laugh during this, and it fails. You never ever combine humor with betrayal. Humor is supposed to be in less serious parts of the story. A betrayal is meant to be an emotional moment in the game, where you're trying to survive, and you want revenge on the guy or girl who betrayed you. You guys, my fans, also voted for this being the worst mission in the game, and I'll have some comments also up. But just look at this. I don't know. I really don't know what the devs were thinking with this board game situation. What was the goal? I can barely find anyone who liked that sequence. I agree with you guys, it was just stupid. Like I said, when you're doing a betrayal sequence in a game, you want the betrayal sequence to be emotional. You want to be able to survive and get revenge on whoever betrayed you. You know, there's so many games that do much better betrayals. But just this, hallucinating a board game? You know, something like that? That's you know, why are they trying to make you laugh? Like, Nawali just betrayed you, and he's possibly about to kill your friends, and you're hallucinating this crap. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, after you wake up, you find your gang slaughtered and your friends kidnapped. You go back to the old ghost town, you fight a bunch of Nawali's guys, and then you steal the futuristic fighter jet at the beginning of the game, which you attack Nawali's base with. This is some abandoned casino, but like I said, it doesn't really count as a casino mission. I could have stomached this mission much better if Nawali's reasoning for betrayal was actually more realistic. When Nawali betrayed you, I thought he did it because he wanted to take over your criminal empire, which most betrayals are like that. Most people thought that. They thought he was betraying you to take over your empire, but that's not the reason. The reason for his betrayal was even stupider. Why does Nawali betray you? Because he wants to be you. He wants to be Cringe boss like you, and he's jealous of your friends and wants to force them to be his friends. That's right, the team building exercises really went to Nawali's head, and not only did they turn a badass character Cringe, but also made him really creepy.
Everything smells amazing, Kev.
You know what would make it smell even better?
Let me guess. Pancakes.
You know it.
What the hell?
Hey, Hey, look who's home.
Is this like the beginning of the
How
game
was
but
your
with a
day?
Nawali?
Not bad. I got some blood on my favorite shirt.
Sounds like you could use some champagne.
Thanks, Eli. Please, sit. So...
The hell?
What did you all do today?
You know what we did.
You're upset.
You think?
I do not like to see you upset.
Well, maybe you should have thought of that before.
Nina, please.
We'll discuss your gratitude later. Hello. Where are they? They're safe. I am coming for you, motherfucker. Good. It'll save me some time. I'm sorry. That threw me off. Okay. We'll try this again with a little more energy. And Kev, be sure to have some club soda ready, eh? I don't want this stage to set.
He's like forcing them to rehearse, like... Okay, so...
Everything smells amazing, Kev.
What the hell? So like Nawali wants to be Cringe boss? Is that like what? He's jealous of Cringe boss? That's just... I don't understand. This is just... And Kevin is wearing a shirt now and it's just... And the
Guns.
Okay, it's just...
I need guns to rescue them.
You end up saving your friends and dueling Nawali on the roof where it ends. It's not a satisfying ending. They turn the only cool character into a cringe, creepy maniac.
Eat whatever you cook for him.
I can take one for the team.
Don't be crazy. What if we trade?
Holy shit, are we mic'd?
No. This is something else.
I want them secured.
What's going on?
It's for your own safety.
It's our roommate, isn't it? They're here to say...
Save you? Is that what you... Eli, I'm sorry I hit you. There's a lot going on right now, and I got upset. Everything's going to be fine.
Okay, this is like so creepy. So like Nawali is kidnapping the boss's friends and trying to like have those cringy scenes like together. That's
Nina?
just...
Kev? Things are going back to the way they were.
You guys okay?
We're fine.
Why is Kev wearing a shirt?
Okay,
Look out! Don't you see? You were never meant to protect them.
You don't get it. They don't need my help. I need theirs.
What the hell? What? The cat attacked him? What the... Okay, you could have done that 1 minute ago. He hit him with the waffle maker?
You're fucked now, buddy.
Seriously, what the hell? Who wrote the script for this? You know, the stupid, disgusting board game, and then Nawali just becoming like a major creep, wanting to kidnap your friends and forcing them to be his friends and forcing Kevin to cook, wear a shirt, and it's just, you know, just forcing them to rehearse lines, and his gang goes along with this. Like, Nawali's gang goes along with this. He built a whole model kitchen set, and they're recording him. Like, why is his gang going along with this? What's in it for them exactly? It's just so dumb. And then when the cat attacks Nawali, my god. They really ruined the only cool character in this game. But there's also an additional mission where you have to scare the police chief, and she's a giant joke as well. She only appears in one mission and keeps calling you the Purple Shirt Mafia, which isn't funny. Go to the first factory.
Hello, Chief Michaels. We need to talk.
We're here to make you drop your investigation into the Saints.
Who? The Purple Shirt Mafia.
Fuck you! I don't bow to criminal threats!
Will you bow to criminal acts? Knock her around! Woo!
Fine! I'll do it! I'll drop the case!
Damn, Eli. You made a convincing bad cop.
Thanks. I mean, our first thought was to just blackmail her about the stolen antiquities she's been laundering through a hobby store with the Banteros. And it was like, it's the darkness in there.
You know about that? Fuck! Why didn't you
good to know for next time.
You purple shirts are a bunch of monsters.
Purple shirts, so that the police don't even still know that they're called the Saints.
Just gonna drop you here.
The top of Panther Rock? How the fuck am I gonna get down?
You'll figure it out.
Whew. Glad to have that task force off our back. We really dodged the bullet.
Eli, you don't have to dodge bullets when you're covered in Kevlar.
The police chief in Saints Row 1, Chief Monroe, we heard him only in phone calls, and yet he was a 10 times better antagonist.
This is Chief Monroe. If you want Julius back, listen to what I've got to say. Now, that stunt you pulled downtown with a rocket launcher cost my associates and I quite a bit of money. Now, I may not be an honest man, but I'm a fair one. So rather than turn Saints Row into a parking lot, I'm gonna let you work off what you owe me. There's a mayoral campaign going on, and I want one of the candidates taken off the ballot. Marshal Winslow is in his campaign bus right now, and he has an appointment with the northbound. Park that bus on the train tracks tonight, or you'll find Julius's body floating in the river tomorrow. Don't disappoint me. Julius is counting on you.
Did you handle it? Where the fuck is Julius?
Have you heard back from Monroe?
Nice work. But I don't think I can let Julius go until you do a little more community service. We'll be in touch.
This police chief could have been a much better antagonist, and that's it for the Cringe story. I like the original premise of starting off in a different gang, and I actually like that your friends are all in different gangs at the start, but I would have written this much differently. Please tell me in the comments if you like my story idea better. How I would have written it? Here's how I would have done it. I would have wrote it where the characters aren't all roommates. Instead, I would have had prequel missions, where you play as the boss in Marshall, and you're falling out in it. Then I would have made a mission where you play as Kevin and Nina in their gangs, the Idols and the Panteros, and I would have changed their personalities, so Kevin wouldn't be so cringe. So when we actually play these characters, Kevin would be more like Johnny Gatton, the cringe character that we got. Each character in their missions would have had some incident that causes them to leave the gang. All the characters leave their gangs, and they all meet up in Saints Row, a neighborhood now controlled, not controlled by either of the gangs. They seem like enemies at the start, but then they realize how much they all hate their gangs, and how much in common they have. They instead decide to join forces, form their own gang, the Saints. Not some cringe college hipster student loan crap storyline. I would have done it where each gang has a separate storyline. I would have made the Idols much more scarier, and if you want to know how I would have made the Idols look, it would have been like something in Days Gone, when we see the anarchists in that game. A bunch of scary survivalists that only appear in a few side missions, but they're way more intimidating, and they're called anarchists in the game. I would have had enemy gang cutscenes where you see them react to what you have done. So like you would have seen Sergio, rage at destroying the forge, and stuff like that. And as for the final antagonist, it would have been a scary corrupt police chief like Monroe. I would have made my main antagonist a corrupt police chief. Maybe at the end of the game, you get betrayed by this corrupt police chief, and you get surrounded and captured. And what happens? Nawali shows up to save you and your gang. You all team up together, and you take down the corrupt police chief, and then you unlock Nawali as a homie at the end of the game. I think that storyline would have been much better than this. This mess what we got, it's just disgusting. But let me know if you guys like my idea better. This is just the worst Saints Row storyline, and it was just a nightmare for me to play. And one final thing I'll say about this Saints Row storyline, guys. Guess what? The reason that you were actually looking at my gameplay with my face camera in all of those all of the story sequences that I was showing before was because you cannot replay story missions in this game. That's right, at least not yet. Maybe they'll do it in the future, but you cannot replay story missions. You can go on your phone and you can see the list of all the story missions, but you cannot replay story missions. This is one of the only Saints Row games, I think the only Saints Row game. I know Saints Row 1, Saints Row 2, Saints Row the 3rd, you could replay missions. I think you can do it also in Saints Row 4. But every Saints Row game, you could typically replay all the missions in the game, and you can watch the cutscenes again. Here, you can't replay them. And so what I ended up doing is I just ended up using my own gameplay footage from the story, because hell no, I was not gonna replay this a second time. I just was not gonna replay this nightmare storyline a second time. This is cringe. Oh man, I'm sorry, I just don't have the words for it right now. But anyways, let's move on to the next section. We're gonna talk right here about the activities now. Okay, so now I want to talk about the criminal ventures in the Saints Row reboot. And criminal ventures, These are the best part of the game. They're definitely the best part, at least for me. I like some of the criminal ventures. Some of them I think are bad, but I do think that they're at least a step in the right direction. Basically, these criminal ventures are, businesses that you buy in order to fund the Saints. And some of them are kind of more legal. Some of them are a lot more illegal. And these businesses link a lot of the previous activities in the past. And so I think that's actually a good idea, that you take, the activities like Mayhem and you link it into a new business. So anyways, let's start off with Jim Rob's garage. So Jim Rob is that guy that you worked with in Marshall at the beginning of the game. He leaves Marshall soon after you meet him, and he starts up his own garage. His missions basically involve stealing vehicles. Now, some of the earlier vehicles are vehicles that you have to steal off the streets, but then the other ones later on are vehicles that are specifically marked on the map. You go over to that area, you pick up that vehicle, and you drive it back. But some of these get really hard, where you have enemies that will constantly smash into you. And I'm going to talk about this more in my glitch part, but the AI in the game is really annoying. They just basically smash into you until you explode. But that's it for Jim Rob's garage. Next one that we got is Chalupa Cabra. Now, Chalupa Cabra, I personally think this is one of the worst businesses in the game, because this is actually a drug smuggling business. And it sounds cool, sounds interesting. However, though, basically what this business is you just go across the map and you steal a bus. And you drive that bus back to the business. The bus is very slow, so it's going to take you some time to get back to the business. But on top of that, you're going to have enemies constantly crashing into you, and it's going to get annoying. Next criminal venture that we got is Shady Oaks. Now, Shady Oaks is one of the best businesses in the game. This is basically insurance fraud. It's a medical clinic in which you are, gonna fake injuries in order to make the clinic a bunch of money. Now, this basically, like the old games, you throw yourself in front of traffic, though you can't get as high in the air as you could like in Saints Row 2, but it's still fun and enjoyable, and now you can actually blow up vehicles with adrenaline, which is kind of cool. So, Shady Oaks is a great business. I think it's a good one. Then we have Bright Future, and Bright Future is basically a nuclear waste disposal business. And so in this one, you actually have to go to specific areas to find a nuclear waste truck, or you drive it back. And this is a little bit more different because at least you don't have enemies chasing you, but you have to drive fast, but you also have to be careful not to crash, because then the nuclear waste starts leaking, and then you're going to get a lot less money. But the more waste that you deliver, you get more money back. Castle Kraken, I think, is one of the worst ones. Castle Kraken really serves no purpose. It's actually part of Eli's LARP storyline. So as you actually complete Eli's LARP storyline, there's going to be specific activities around the map. Some of these places that you got to clear out of all of the other LARP members, and then you pretty much complete the business. I really didn't enjoy Castle Kraken. And we have the laundromat business, which this one is actually my favorite one. The laundromat is a business in which you're actually covering up and cleaning up crime scenes. So somebody has committed a murder, and your gang is getting rid of the evidence. And this actually requires you to dispose of bodies that are usually in the trunk of the car. This is actually an actual criminal business, and something that I actually feel like would be in an actual Saints Row game. It's done excellent.
Oh, you're here.
I'm in a rush, so fill me in.
Nicky Sharp killed a guy and hired us to dump the body. We gotta take this car and park it in front of the train.
Who's in the trunk?
That's the problem. It's Bobby Firth.
Who?
His family owns the Pacific National Railroad. They've got so much pull. Every cop in Santo Ileso is out there looking for him.
All right, throw me the keys.
But what about the cops?
I'll worry about the cops. You finish cleaning up.
Like, for example, in this one, you gotta avoid cops, drive around them, avoid the roadblocks. You gotta put this car in front of the train tracks. Train runs it over, blows it up. Then you actually could hear stuff like this on the radio, which is actually pretty cool.
Now to get those season tickets.
Newsflash, Santo Ileso. Authorities have confirmed that Robert Firth, heir to the Pacific National Railroad fortune, is dead. The Firth family has denied rumors that Robert, a fixture of the Santo Ileso party scene, may have had dealings with organized crime. Firth's body was found in the mangled wreckage of his car, which had collided with a speeding train near Smelterville. This has been Juana Villalobos, reporting for the Star Register News Network.
Then we got Eureka Bater, Eureka Bater. This is basically a business in which you test, futuristic equipment for Marshall. Like you test the hoverboard, and you test some of the more futuristic weapons, like a weapon that can shoot through walls, which you actually can use this technology after you actually complete the business. So I did think it was actually a good one too. Then we have Woozy Year's Repo. Woozy Year's Repo is basically a business in which you would go across the map, and you would try to you would use a tow truck. You hook up a vehicle of somebody that owes money, and you drive the vehicle back. And this can be kind of similar to the other ones, where you are you're constantly having people smash into you, and cops or other enemies that'll smash into you as you drive it back. Then we got Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge is basically like probably the weirdest business in the game, which it's supposed to be, I believe, some kind of, fashion store, but the lady that's on it is kind of weird and creepy, and she asks you to actually take pictures of of some item in the area. That's all you gotta basically do. You gotta go over the area and just find like a picture. Take a picture. It is unique, but I'll say it's just a bit weird.
Bravo, my dear. What a treasure you are.
Okay, we got it. So that's we got KTS Radio. Now, KTS Radio, this is about basically like a business to jam the signals of the cops and other gang members. And so basically what you gotta do on this, you gotta go over to an area in which one of the gangs control Marshall, Idols, the Panteros, or the police. And you go to that area, you clear out a bunch of them, and then these cell phone towers actually get marked in that area. You have to actually shoot up in the air, and then once you shoot up in the air, you have to try to hit these cell phone towers. And once you hit the cell phone towers, eventually what this unlocks is, this is basically like an ability that keeps going, where it'll take longer for enemies to call in reinforcements, so eventually it does help you out. The big one is, I think, one of the better businesses also. The big one is basically a gun-running business. But, you're not really smuggling weapons. It's more instead mayhem. So what you're doing is you're actually using the weapons, and you're testing them on the street and causing a bunch of chaos for your clients to try to use it. And these include, using an attack helicopter or a tank. But I do think that, mayhem is generally like a really good one, and the big one was a good one. Final Strike Dojo. Final Strike Dojo, this one is a weird one. It sounds cool at first, like a fight club kind of thing. At least that's what I thought it was. But Fight Club in Saints Row 2 was just so much better. This is instead where you start up your own dojo, and it's a protection racket business, which is just a bit weird. So you're collecting protection racket money from businesses, but you're also, fighting for the dojo. Like, you're fighting against another dojo, actually. And I actually even forgot what the other dojo's name was, because they were just so forgetful. But basically, it's just boring. All you basically do in the entire dojo is you just go through an area and you just fight a bunch of them. That's it, pretty much. And, you can just do that big fire punch, you knock a bunch of them down, and it's very easy to fail also, because if you hit the owner at any point, because the owner is actually standing really close to the fight, if he accidentally gets hit during the fight, it fails. So this is like literally like this is like a oh come on, oh my god, oh no, please just don't make me fight all those guys again. Oh my god, I'm literally going to, oh my god. This is the final part, and it's getting me so irritated.
You found
I have to do all of this again. This is so stupid right now. Like, it's not my fault the idiot wouldn't move. Oh my god, this just sucks, and I gotta do all this crap again now. And the melee combat is just really bad here. Like, Saints Row 2's combat was just so much better than this. Like, what is this? Like, the takedowns are cool, I will give it that, but, like, in Saints Row 2, if you landed 3 hits, you can do, like, a special move after that.
You'll have to get through me first.
And actually, when you actually fight the master of the other gang, it's just a generic NPC. It's, like, no different than fighting any other NPCs. You'd think the master would be, like, some big boss battle at the end, but it actually wasn't. Then we have Planet Saints. Now, Planet Saints, you would be thinking that this one is actually is actually like Saints Row the Third, which it kind of is to a degree. It is based on the original store, and you do have more clothes, but I was actually disappointed that the place didn't have enough clothes, at least for me. But basically what Planet Saints is, it's just basically a business where you hijack clothing trucks from a rival company. That's it. And I personally think there's way too many businesses that rely on you hijacking vehicles specifically. I think that there should be more to this, but I didn't like Planet Saints because it's basically just steal a truck that drives around and you just drive it back. That's it. And I've also had the truck glitch out on me. Sometimes it gets really annoying trying to actually steal it. And then we have Let's Pretend. Now, Let's Pretend, this is, based on the original store in Saints Row 2, the costume store. But Let's Pretend had a lot of potential, but unfortunately it failed. Let's Pretend is actually a heist business. So it's a business where you actually plan heists in the back room. It sounds cool. Curious if the arcade in GT Online inspired this. But it sounds cool. But the problem with it is, guess what role you play? You're the getaway driver. Every single time you are the getaway driver during that. And so, I don't mind being the driver on like 1 or 2 heists, but most people don't want to be the driver during a heist. Most people actually want to be the gunman. We want to be inside the building, controlling hostages, taking the loot. We don't want to just be outside fighting cops until they're done with the heist. And then when they're done with the heist, you gotta drive them through a series of checkpoints, and it just pretty much ends. That's it.
Another one. Good thing someone put this island here.
That's not exactly how we planned it.
Hey, we got the gear. That's a win in my book.
I guess we could just leave the car here.
And then lastly of the Saints Tower. Once you unlock everything, you buy all the ventures, you can buy Saints Tower. And Saints Tower is basically just what it is, a skyscraper dedicated to the Saints. And it actually does not, the building itself doesn't look bad. And you actually unlock a final cutscene during it. However, though, in this game, you have the option of turning off copyrighted music, which I like. But what I'll say about that is when you turn off copyrighted music, there's nothing else on the radio. And the reason that, you'd think that there'd be some other music on the radio, but the reason it's important to this is because even though I turned it off, I actually got a copyright claim for it. So in that cutscene, there's actually a song that plays. They're actually singing karaoke, which I'd rather they didn't. But it's an extremely cringy scene, one of the cringiest scenes I've seen in the game. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through it. But basically, I got a copyright claim for that. So I got a copyright claim to the beat of them singing Love Shack. It's ridiculous. You turn off the copyright music in the game, you should be protected from it, but you aren't. And that's what ended up happening here. And also, the most disappointing thing about Saints Tower is there is no penthouse here. You'd think there'd be a penthouse. You'd think there'd be like some personal like housing for the player, for the boss, but there isn't. It's just basically a helipad, but there is no, penthouse, no rooms or anything to explore, just the helipad, and that's pretty much it. So I think Saints Tower is personally a big disappointment. But what I'll say about this is that the Criminal Ventures, I think, were personally a good idea. And I think it was a step in the right direction. Some of them I think suck. Like, I think there was way too many driving ones. There was way too many ones that relied on vehicles. But it's nice that you have all this diversified income in the game, and you're making it through different illegal means. But, I wish they focused a little bit more on the crime aspect in some of them. But that's pretty much it. I do like that they linked the activities that you had in the previous games to businesses. I think that's actually a step in the right direction. Okay, so now let's talk about the customization in this game. Customization is one of the better parts of this game, and I did not have that much of an issue with it, though there are some problems as well. Now, one significant thing about the customization in this game is that it's all now done in the style page in your phone. When you want to change your character's physical appearance, you can just go on the app on the phone and just change through there. And I actually like this feature. I like this feature better than Image's Design, because Image's Design was a surgery store that you would go to it, and that's the only way that you could actually change your character's physical appearance. But now, we can just do it right through the phone. And also, additionally, there's also a new tab in here, in which you can actually take a look at other bosses. This is one of the best parts of the game, is that there are hundreds to possibly thousands of bosses uploaded, and people are very creative on these bosses. People can make, Johnny Gat, Big Smoke, Ryder, the Joker, even Willy Wonka. There's just so many ridiculous character designs. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. People are very creative here, and I really recommend to check this page out and just scroll through it, because there's just so many bosses. Some of them are really well designed, some of them are cool. John Wick's in here. I've seen Agent 47. I've even seen Micah from Red Dead Redemption 2. So people are really good with matching the outfits and really good at making these characters. So I do really highly recommend to do that. And you can download several bosses, and you can change between those bosses whenever you want. In terms of clothes, you also change your clothes in the style page. But you need to own the clothes first. You need to go to the clothing store, buy the clothes, but then when you own the clothes, you can just go to the style page and you can just change it. And you can also change the color, so you don't need to buy the same outfit multiple times in different colors. It's a nice thing about it. However, there's a major problem, and that major problem is that you can actually not rob stores. There's no such thing as robbing stores in this game. You walk in with a gun, you can even shoot the cashier, nothing is going to happen. I don't know, why they took this out, but even in Saints Row 1, which is a 2006 game, you could rob stores. You could hold up stores, no problem. Why can't you do that in this game? Additionally, there's another thing I want to talk about with the phone, and this is, something that might piss people off. Some people might not care about it. Me personally, it did annoy me a bit, and that is that whenever you have the phone out in this game, you can't move. When you have the phone out, you have to completely stop your character, and this is when you're on foot and when you're driving. And my question is why? Why can't you walk with the phone, and why can't you drive with the phone? Even GTA 4, a 2008 game, you could walk with your phone and you could drive with your phone, but you can't do that in this game. I don't understand why. On the phone, you can also choose your skills and your perks. So, skills are basically like several abilities that you have that you can put on your character. And, on the PlayStation, this would be, triangle, square, circle, X. On the Xbox, I'm assuming it would be, Y, X, B button. But basically, some of these perks include, like, putting a grenade on somebody and then chucking them. Other perks might be where you gain you gain extra health. You spawn 2 Saints to back you up. You do more melee damage for a short period of time. So I do generally like these. I do generally like the skills. I think that they are good. Some of them are stupid. Some of them are kind of useless. But, for the most part, I do like this idea that you now have, additional skills that you can use in combat. Though I don't like some of the combat in this game. I don't like how you lock on. I don't like a lot of the bullet sponge enemies. I don't know why they couldn't just do a simple manual aim like they did in, Saints Row 1 and 2, and even in Saints Row the 3rd. We also have perks. Now, perks are a little bit different than skills, where perks will always be active. So it's, passive abilities that you have active, like, collecting more ammo for your guns, receiving more bonus XP, you do more damage, like when you hit enemies from the back, stuff like that. So it's like passive abilities that are constantly, always active, where the skills are things that you need to manually activate. Guns in this game additionally have customization, and they actually have special abilities that you can unlock if you actually complete their challenges. Though some of the challenges can be really stupid, like for example with the Tommy gun, the Johnson SMG, it's destroy 10 hostile enemy vehicles, and this only works for vehicles that are occupied by enemies. So it's really hard to just shoot, for example, with this Tommy gun and blow up enemies when they're in a vehicle before they escape, because once it's on fire, a lot of times they'll get out of the vehicle. So some of the challenges can be a bit ridiculous, but these are extra ways for you to unlock things with these weapons. You can also customize your friends' outfits, and most of them, are similar. Like, for example, having blood in the outfits, not much different. The Dustlander outfit is, a little bit different, but like I said, I didn't even enjoy the LARP missions. However, the gang customization is good, but to unlock these gang outfits, you need to complete the businesses. And there's actually a lot of different outfits on here, a lot. And so you can really make your gang unique. Same thing with the vehicles. There's a lot of vehicle customization, and when it comes to actually customizing vehicles in this game, they're pretty good. Generally similar to, Saints Row 2. I'd compare it also to GTA Online's car customization. I didn't really have a problem with the car customization, but I'm not really much of a car guy myself. Cars also have special abilities that you can unlock as well, like jumping over, cars. Certain cars might do a little bit more damage when they smash into each other. Things of that nature. There is no cribs in this game, unfortunately. The only crib that you actually have is the Saints HQ, the church, or the Saints Tower if you count that, but the Saints Tower does not have any kind of penthouse inside it, though I wish it had. But yeah, there's no cribs in this game. There's nothing. Maybe you had the apartment at the beginning of the game, but not much more than that. I know that in the church, the boss has his or her own room, but I still think there should have been cribs. Like, if you become, like, this big crime boss, why can't you have, like, a penthouse in the city or one of the mansions up in the hills? I don't get that, personally. Why can't you have house or penthouse customization? You had penthouse customization in Saints Row 2, which is a 2008 game. Why don't you have it in this game? That I don't understand, personally. Okay, so now let's talk with the glitches and the physics, because this part of the game really impacted my score and it really annoyed me. Now, I'm unable to get 100% full completion in this game because of some of the glitches. My game is permanently bugged, and that means that I cannot complete the entire game without restarting it, and I sure as hell am not going to play through that terrible storyline again. But anyways, what I mean by this is the Saints, not to be confused with the Saints Tower, because the Saints Tower you can get once you get all the ventures. What I mean by total 100% is I mean all the side activities in the game. To complete a district, you have to find all the collectibles and do all the activities in that area. And I was unable to do this. The reason that I'm unable to do this is because of the fast travel points. Now, basically how fast travel works in the Saints Row Reboot, I don't actually mind how it works. I think it's fine, but it's glitched out at least. That basically how it works is you have these several, key landmarks around the map. You take a picture, and once you take a picture of that, you can fast travel to that point. Sounds fine, sounds like an okay system when it works. The problem is the one that's on the casino strip. The picture that's on the casino strip, I can't take that picture. It doesn't let me. As you guys see right here, I'm backing up, I'm zooming in and out, I'm trying my best to get this in the frame. I can't take this picture no matter what. And if you want to know how it's supposed to look, take a look at this. This is like a collectible that I was taking a picture of. This is how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to be green, lit up, when you get it at the right angle. But I'm standing at so many angles, and I cannot get this photo. And I remember in the past, I was able to get this photo, but I couldn't. Why? What happened to me? I was trying to take this picture at this fast travel point right when the game came out. So back in, this is probably like, early September. I was trying to take a picture of this. What ended up happening was a cop car ran me over as I was taking the picture. And because of that, it permanently glitched out. And that means I can no longer take a picture of this. I can no longer take a picture of this area, which means that I have one fast travel point I cannot unlock. So I have to just drive over here or fly over here to the casino strip each time. This really pisses me off because all the fast travel points were unlocked in the game, but this isn't. So, and if you want to know, this is, November now. And this is late November, and this is still a glitch for me. This is still a problem for me. If you have an issue like this, let me know in the comments down below, because I can't be the only one who can't take pictures like this. But this is ridiculous. I'm trying to unlock a fast travel point, and I cannot complete the district without unlocking this point, which is just pissing me off. But it doesn't end there. I also have a collectible. There's a collectible that I have that I cannot take a picture of it either. Take a look here. See? I can't take a picture of this one, so I got two places that are glitched out. And also, on top of that, I had one of the landmark side activities done, and basically glitched out. These are basically like these little activities where you go over to specific landmarks, and you have to go up to like the little bulletin boards, and you like play something, and it basically tells you about the area. But the thing is, though, this is boring, and it seems more like a hassle than something. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to explore the map, but the thing is, I wanted to explore Stillwater because Stillwater had so many unique districts, like the mall, the museum district, the museum district of suburbs, the airport district, there is the docks. There are so many unique areas to Stillwater, and you wanted to explore them, and they had missions also behind them. But the thing is that the areas in Stillwater, I wanted to explore them because they were unique areas, not because I was forced to go there. So when you have a map and you're forcing basically people to go to a specific point as a collectible, to encourage exploration instead of just encouraging players to explore. The point that I'm getting at, so I'm not sounding confusing, is that you want to have an interesting map where people will want to explore that area, they want to visit that part of the map. Not because there's an activity there and they're trying to get a trophy or something like that. But anyways, this landmark activity fails also because it's glitched out also for me. As you guys can see, I'm going up to each point and it still says 0 out of 5. When I find all points, at least it unglitches itself and it finds what it's supposed to say 1 out of 5, then 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and 5 out of 5. So there's still plenty of glitches. And then the other thing is, the AI drivers in this game, the drivers in this game, are some of the worst AI drivers I've ever seen in an open world game, in a modern game. The AI drivers are even worse than the drivers in GTA Online. I'm not joking by that. I literally used to think that in a modern game, I would think in a modern game, the worst drivers I've seen are GTA Online NPC drivers, but that's wrong. That's wrong now. It's a Saints Row Reboot's reboot drivers. Just take a look at this. I loaded in. Look at what happened to me here.
Yoink!
I did not manipulate the game in any way. I didn't. I just loaded up that fast draw point, the one that's in the corner of that desert. I loaded in. I was just standing there, AFK for a little bit, and the car, I don't know how that happens, the car somehow drives up the hill and runs me over, and then just sits there. I don't know, who programmed the NPCs in this game. Also, take a look at this. This is for a business. Remember that business I was talking about earlier, the Planet Saints? Well, guess what? As I was trying to take one of the truck for some reason decided to drive all the way over here and just crashed on the side, and I was unable to get it. I can't get in the truck. Oh, come on. There's nothing in the truck, too.
I don't need help for this.
And great, I just lost the truck, too. Wonderful. And it's still on the map. I didn't have an option to hijack it at all. I should just shut out the driver, but man, that's stupid. Now, 1 or 2 is fine, but 3 is too much. Okay, I'm literally about to shoot this driver out. Where are they going? No, 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 no! What are you doing? Oh my god. How am I supposed to get the truck now? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, this is stupid. But it doesn't end there, guys. Remember when I was taking that picture of that collectible earlier? Well, guess what? The AI just acts so stupidly. I don't know, what the hell. But take a look at this. So I landed the helicopter, but I didn't fire any guns. I don't know if that scares NPCs or what, but just the way they were acting, and they were running into the helicopter, and then there was the cars that were just, crashing into they were just crashing into the pole, and then crashing into my helicopter. Like I said, I didn't fire any guns, didn't do anything. All I did was I just landed a helicopter in this area, and the NPCs were freaking out over it. It was just stupid. But it doesn't just end there with the AI, guys. The police and the gang AI, when they chase you in vehicles, they are so annoying. It's literally like an old GTA game. I literally feel like I'm playing GTA 3 when when the police chase you in this game. The police don't attempt to spin you out or stop you like, in some other open world games that you play. They don't even really, I don't think there's even spike strips in this game in which they try to pop your tires. I could be wrong on that, but I haven't seen any spike strips from the police in this game. Instead, do you know what the police do? Like I said, it's like a GTA 3 game. The police will instead ram into you constantly until you blow up. And even if you're driving like a massive vehicle, if you're driving like a truck and the cop car is small, the cops will still try to ram into you until you explode. And they don't care if they explode either. They will just keep smashing into you until you blow up. Every vehicle has a health bar, so apparently it just keeps smashing into it until you explode.
Don't move!
And what the hell with this glitch here? This is literally after I had gotten blown up by the cops. This is how my game loaded in. I loaded in front of the church and I was down on the ground. I couldn't move. I couldn't get up. My health regenerated for some reason, but that was just it. I could zoom out of the camera. I could move it around a little bit, but I couldn't do anything besides that. That was it. That was just, I don't know, what the hell.
Stop what you're doing!
This is not the end for me.
Tight! Styling, profiling. Pimpin'.
And it gets worse, guys. There was also, I remembered, one other glitch I had where I couldn't even pick up collectibles during my playthrough. Again, this is impacting, if you can complete a district, and it'll prevent you from getting trophies if you cannot get everything in that area.
Who are those purple dudes?
Oh, come on. Now I can't pick up the collectible?
Really changed up
You've
that
got to be kidding me.
They are killing that outfit.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is some glitches that you still encounter in this game, and what? Yeah, I cannot pick up any of these collectibles right now. This is getting stupid. And the physics. Oh boy, where do I start with the physics? The physics are just terrible in this game. Sometimes certain vehicles handle fine, and you feel like they're, you feel like they're actually a car. But other vehicles feel like toys. Like, sometimes when you hit a vehicle, it'll be like that vehicle, like it's an actual car crash. But other times you hit the vehicle, and they'll just fly. They will actually fly when you hit them. Just take a look at this.
Están escuchando KRAZN 106.1 El Látido, la locura del milenio. Soy DJ Mel y les traigo la música latina más candente a toda hora.
Additionally, the car destruction and the bullet damage to vehicles just sucks. Every door that you shoot in this game, I don't know why, but apparently a few gunshots to any door will just make it magically pop off. So just shoot every door, a few shots, and every door will just pop off, and you can just keep doing that. And when the vehicles blow up, it's just bad. Like, the look of the explosions is bad. Just compare it to Saints Row 2. Let me show you guys the crashing in Saints Row 2, and then I'll show you guys the bullet damage. And you guys can compare and contrast, and you guys tell me which game is better.
Attention. Section C29 Alpha Gamma clearance code for Sector Operator 3271.
So now I wanted to talk about political correctness, which some people might not see as a big deal, but for me personally, it was. And it's just the fact that Saints Row has just changed so much. The developers have gotten so scared of offending people that they ended up offending way more people with just what they'd done in the Saints Row reboot. Now, what have they done in the Saints Row reboot? Jim Robs is a perfect example of political correctness in this game. Now, you're wondering, why is that? What's the big deal with Jim Robs? Well, if you've played the old Saints Row games, if they've never had the same garages that they had in the old Saints Row games, it wouldn't be a big deal. You'd think nothing of it. But it's what the original Saints Row garage was actually called. Take a look at it. Yeah, that's it, and I'll say for the video, it's called rim jobs. That is what the old garages in Saints Row were called, and you can see what the joke was. It's not, Saints Row wasn't trying to offend anyone, it was just a, funny, just crazy game. That's just what it was. It was a gangster game, and I don't know how, people are going to get offended by that. But also, it's the restaurant name. Now, what is the fast food restaurant called in the Saints Row reboot?
I'm here. What's up?
We need to get over to FB's ASAP. They're re-releasing the Mecha Burger. Everybody had one the summer I was 9. It was the most popular kids' meal toy FB's ever produced.
And you want to relive your childhood? Sure, no problem.
Welcome to FB's. Can I take your order?
Yeah, that's it. It's called FB's. Let's go to FB's. But what was it in the old Saints Row?
Thanks for choosing Freckle Bitches. Home with a twin.
Yes, it was called Freckle Bitches. I'll say it. That's what the restaurant was called. And the characters were not scared to say it themselves.
Hey man, now that everything's taken care of, can you drop me off at Freckle Bitches? I'm jonesing for a fun bag.
I know you're supposed to be dead and all, but you have to look this pissed?
Johnny, you said you'd take me out to dinner.
And here we are.
At Freckle Bitches?
Where else would we go?
Someplace good? Why couldn't you have taken me to Mykonos?
Aisha, it's not like... Hey, what's up? Perfect timing.
Right to the point.
Yo, can you speed this shit up? I want to go to Freckle Bitches.
You're going to die here, son. Make no mistake about that. But if it makes it any easier on you, I'll be sure to thank you in my acceptance speech.
And if you just take a look at the FB's logo and you compare it to the Freckle Bitches logo, you can just see just the difference in it. So you can tell the developers were just so scared of offending anyone that that's exactly what they did here. I personally don't know anybody who would be offended by Freckle Bitches. It was just a parody off of Wendy's. That's what it was. It was just, crazy, ridiculous, fast food place, that the gangsters would just hang out at. It wasn't meant to offend anyone. I don't know, what they're talking about. And you can play as a female character in the old Saints Row game, and they would still, in Saints Row 2, and they would still call it Freckle Bitches. So I don't know, what their goal here is. Who are they scared of offending? And also on top of that, there's another thing is you guys, my subscribers actually pointed this out because I didn't realize this until a little bit later on. But basically, your friends in this game, they're called contacts. They're just called friends and contacts. They're referred to as friends in the game, and they're called contacts in the phone. Why is this a big deal too? Because in the old Saints Row games, you know what they were called? They were called homies. That's what your friends were called. You're called homies. You ran a gang and you called your friends homies. Why would you not use the word homies in this game? This is a gangster game. Why would you not use the word homie? Homie is not an offensive word in any way, shape, or form. Homie is basically just a street slang term for a good friend. That's basically what it means. It's a street slang term for a good friend. That's what it is. There's nothing offensive about the word homie. So I don't know, what the developers were thinking with this. I mean, seriously, come on. We're supposed to be hardcore gangsters, and the hardcore gangsters that we're playing as are scared of offending people? What? So now I wanted to talk about the developer and how they treated the fans, because, oh man, this is not good. And this just makes me so mad when you see a developer have such little respect for their fans, and they consider their fans haters, which, if you watch my channel, guys, you know I'm not a hater of Saints Row. I love Saints Row, and I actually think Saints Row 2 is the best video game of all time. It's my favorite game. And for all the GTA content that I have on my channel, I'll tell you, I think Saints Row 2 is better than GTA 5. I think it's better than GTA 4. I think it's better than GTA San Andreas. That's my opinion. The old Saints Row is what I love. So I'm not a hater of Saints Row by any means. I love Saints Row. I just don't like this new style that they've done. A lot of people agree with me. We like the old ones. We're passionate about that. But anyways, this is what one of the Saints Row fans had actually posted to Volition on their Twitter. And it was from Gavinator. He says, "I know you won't listen, but if you want fans to stop complaining," and this is from August last year, by the way, if you want fans to stop complaining and giving y'all crap, maybe just maybe replace these clowns and give us the real Saints. Doesn't even have to be the old crew, just real gangsters. That would honestly clear up a lot of the hate you guys are getting. And what did the official Saints Row Twitter respond with? With this: haters gonna hate. Seriously, this is what you're gonna respond with. Your fan gave you a legitimate criticism of these guys, of these new, Saints, doesn't like them. Instead of addressing the criticism, you respond with that. And Gavinator wrote this: if anything, I'm not a hater. I've been defending you guys since people called you a GTA clone, which wasn't true at all. Now I feel like I wasted my time defending you guys. As the boss once said, the Saints used to mean something. Only MF that seems to remember this is me and Gat. Yep. And, this is what they said. We are not backing down on this game. We get it. It's new, and it's a shock reaction to a reboot like no other. The GIF was supposed to convey that. Okay, well, look, I'll tell you is when a new game, has a change, there's, some, controversy over it. But there typically isn't backlash. Like, at least not on this scale, unless there's severely something wrong. When there's something wrong, when there's something severely wrong, there is a lot of backlash. And I'll give you guys a perfect example. When GTA 5, was coming out, GTA 5, we could tell that GTA 5 was way more action-packed than GTA 4. GTA 4 focused more on realism, where GTA 5 focused more on action. So the point that I'm making is that GTA 5 was a little bit different than GTA 4. And there was actually a little bit of controversy about that. Not a lot, but there was a little bit of controversy about that. Some people were concerned that GTA 5 was getting way too action and getting away from the realism of GTA 4. Now, you can make a legitimate argument that the realism in GTA 4 was better, or you can make a legitimate argument that the crazy action is better in GTA 5. But I don't hate either person. I don't hate the person that says that GTA 4 is better, and I don't hate the person that says GTA 5 is better. But the point that I'm making is there's a little bit of an argument about the new style in GTA 5, but despite that little controversy, there wasn't massive backlash. There's a reason that there's massive backlash against this game. People were pissed off. Even people who liked, the Saints Row the 3rd and Saints Row 4, they didn't like it. And people who didn't like Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2, they didn't like it either. So when you have the two fan bases, the fan bases of Saints Row the 3rd and Saints Row the 4th, and the fan base of Saints Row 1 and 2, and they all don't like it, there's something severely wrong with your game. And you should have listened to the community, but you didn't want to, Volition. And here we have, this is an actual Saints Row developer here. And I don't, please do not harass these guys in any way. I don't support any kind of harassment. I'm just, showing this in my video to explain, why these devs are wrong. I just have massive disagreements with them, but I don't support anyone getting harassed or anything like that. But anyways, this is what one of the developers, posted. The haters today. You know that writing is bad, right? Gameplay is so boring and repetitive. Quit having fun. Well, I wasn't having fun like that when I was playing the Saints Row Reboot. There were some activities that I liked. Like, I mentioned the stuff that I liked in this review. But overall, a lot of the stuff I didn't like. And so, I'm not a hater. But anyways, what ended up happening is, people were arguing with him in the comments. And guess what? He corrected one guy. No one's mad at the people having fun. They're mad at the devs. And that's it. I have no problem with people who like this game. I just don't like the game, and I don't like what they've done with the game. I have a few friends that actually did enjoy this game, and I have a few friends that disagree with me on what I'm gonna say in this review probably. But they're still my friends. I have nothing against them or anything like that. I don't hate anybody who likes this game. I don't hate people who like the GTA Definitive Edition. So it's like I don't understand what they're implying. But he replies back. Just correcting him. And okay, he did make a grammatical mistake, but why are you bringing that up? Why are you, just being grammar king over here, exactly? Why are you doing that? It's basically just a smart-ass comment. That's pretty much what it is. It's just, instead of addressing the valid criticism, you're proceeding to insult the person by trying to correct their grammar. That's just dumb. But that's not even the worst part, guys. The worst part is, The worst part is from this one. This was from the official Saints Row community manager, and this was real. You can't find these tweets anymore because the person had actually privated their account, and I think the tweets are actually deleted as well. But anyways, this is what one guy wrote, Alec Fisher. I'm disappointed in them as well, but I feel we should also understand why they've gotten to this point and why they're pissed off. They feel like their feedback and ideas have been ignored for practically a decade. I love the new Saints Row. I love it a lot. So this guy likes the new Saints Row, but he's admitting that he understands why people are pissed off also, and says that the people who are pissed off feel like they've been ignored for a decade, which we have. You know, ever since Saints Row 2, I felt like the developers have been ignoring the fans since Saints Row 2. You know, Saints Row the Third, I didn't like as much as Saints Row 2, but, you know, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't hating the developers at that point. I was just hoping that they would change, hoping that they would listen. And then Saints Row 4 came out, and I was pretty much done with the series, and then hoping that the new Saints Row was going to be a reboot of, you know, the old gang warfare. And then he wrote, but Volition is very out of touch with the fan base that made this franchise as big it is. Yup, there's no excuse for this behavior. I 100% agree with you, but I don't think ignoring these people further is going to solve anything. And this is what the Saints Row community manager wrote. She wrote, so you think we should give in to terrorist behavior? Also, these people are out of touch with what Saints Row is actually about. Times have changed, and the Saints with them. I won't reinforce this behavior. These are not people we want as fans or in the community. Excuse me? Really, excuse me? Now look, guys, it takes a lot to get me annoyed, but I'm gonna say, how dare you to the Saints Row community manager right here? How dare you? Look, I'm not gonna sit here and deny that you know, some people were scumbags to the dev. There were some people that harassed the developers, and I don't support that in any way, shape, or form. No, the vast majority of people watching this video, I know, don't support any kind of harassment towards the devs. But what we were pissed, this was just a small group of people. This was a very small group of people that were being toxic towards the developers and threatening them. I don't support that. Neither do the vast majority of the Saints Row fans that are upset with this game. We were pissed off what you did with this game. We don't like the characters. We don't like the story. We don't like the new style of it. And when the game came out, the glitches and all the other stuff that's with the game, we don't feel like this is, you know, following the roots of Saints Row. And for you to actually accuse the fans of terrorist behavior simply for, you know, pointing that out and giving a valid, legitimate criticism, is this going to encourage you to encourage more sales for the game? Is this really? Think about it, though. There might be, like, you know, there might be fanboys who defend Volition and defend Saints Row, and they're gonna buy it, but then somebody's, like, you know, deciding, you know, should I buy it or should I not buy it? And then they see this tweet. And there's a reason that these tweets were now privated, because of the backlash that the community manager had gotten. The people are going to see tweets like this, and they're going to say, you know, screw this. I see how the developer treats their fans. I'm not going to buy the game. And that's what had happened, probably. To a lot of people didn't buy it because they saw stuff like this from the developer. But honestly, and then they're out of touch with what Saints Row is actually about. You forgot about what your series was about. Saints Row 1 and 2 were gangs. It was gang warfare. Even Saints Row the Third was gang warfare, despite, you know, it being so over the top. Saints Row 4 wasn't gang warfare anymore, but the first 3 games were gang warfare. The Saints Row formula. Do you know what the Saints Row formula was? The Saints Row formula is you had 3 gangs. And you start out with the Saints, you work your way up, and you take out each gang, you take over their territory, and you take over the city. And you do the activities, you know, the insurance fraud, the mayhem, all the other stuff. That was the formula in Saints Row 1 and 2, and it worked. It was such a great formula. What the hell? Seriously? Seriously, to the Saints Row community manager, what were you thinking? Like, what? And like I said, now, you know, if you go on this Twitter now, it's Professor Genki's whiskers now. So the Twitter has been changed. Her Twitter has been changed around, and it's different. And here's what I'll say about this, guys. Here's what I'll say is I hate cancel culture. I think cancel culture is wrong. I don't want to see anybody fired, and I don't even want to see her fired for that ridiculous tweet. But what I do want to see from her is I want to see an apology, saying that she was wrong and she apologizes to the fans. At least give an apology. But this for me is just unacceptable. So here we're at the end of my review, and I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of this game, give a big summary of it, and basically how I do my final scores for these games is I start every game out at 10 out of 10. And then what I do is I take off points, add points back, depending on the good things. But anyways, let's start off here. So for pros we got a new map. So we have a new location, and I guess it's a unique location, we could say that. I liked it better than a Steelport, but I don't think it comes anywhere close to beating Stillwater. Stillwater is still, a much better city than Santo Alesso. We got good customization. Customization is good for the most part. Clothing customization is fine. Character customization, car customization. The crib customization kind of sucks, but for the most part, customization I would say is good. Well, the only crib we have is the church, like I said, but the only customization we have in there is, moving around, the collectibles that we find, but we get these through missions and taking photos. I wish we had something like Saints Row 2 where we could actually buy cribs and then we could customize them on the inside. We also have, the boss sharing app, where you can just download other people's characters on there, and so it definitely adds a lot of variety to the game, and people can be very creative with the characters they make. We got Criminal Ventures, which Criminal Ventures are just they're great. They're a lot of these previous activities are now linked to businesses, and I personally think there's too many steel car ventures, but some of the other ventures, like the Mayhem venture, we have the insurance fraud, we have the laundromat. I think these are personally good and a step in the right direction, and so I like the idea of businesses being linked to activities. And the last pro that we have is can turn off copyright, and this could also be a con at the same time because I got that one claim at the end. But like I said, guys, remember that you can get a copyright claim on the very final part with the Love Shack cutscene. Even if you have copyright turned off, you can still get it in that scene. And the cons, oh boy, this is the worst story in Saints Row history. Out of all the Saints Row games, this is the worst one, definitely. It's just, the story's just so cringe. It's, I have a bunch of characters that are not gangsters. You cannot take them seriously. They are just, bunch of college kid hipsters, and they're basically just, looks like angry Twitter users to me. That's pretty much what I can get from these characters. It's like, what if Twitter users were gangsters? It's pretty much what I think of a lot of the characters in this game. The other gangs, suck. A lot of the gangs are just not good in this game. Like the Idols and the Panteros kind of suck. The Marshals are a much better gang, but still, every gang is finished in like 3 to 4 missions, and a lot of the mission design is bad, like the LARP missions, which I covered. It's just not a good storyline overall. And even thinking back on it, I used to think that Saints Row 4 actually had the worst storyline because it went from gangs to fighting aliens and demons. But even with the alien storyline, at least it was ridiculous. It was over the top. But you know what it wasn't? It wasn't cringe. That's the thing. It was ridiculous, sure, but it wasn't cringe. And that's the difference between Saints Row 4 and the Saints Row Reboot. Is the Saints Row Reboot is ridiculous, but it's cringe. Saints Row 4 didn't have that. So honestly, I'd rather go back to the superpowers and fighting aliens than having to deal with this nonsense. And we got no mission replay. Like I said, the other Saints Row games let you replay missions. You can scroll through the missions in your phone, but you can't even play them. You can just read the titles of them. What's the point of that? And like I said earlier, no cribs. Why don't you have any cribs? You build this massive criminal empire, but you can't even buy a mansion. You fight your way through an idol's mansion. You can't even take it over. Repetitive steal activities. What I mean by this is some of the criminal ventures where you're constantly stealing stuff. Like one, you steal the bus. You steal the truck of radioactive material. You steal the Planet Saints. You steal the Planet Saints. Planet Saints clothing company. Rival trucks, and then also the gym robs. There's way too many stealing ones there. The activity should be diversified a little bit more. And we also got the annoying glitches. The physics are terrible in this game. They're just not good. You sometimes will hit a bus and the bus will just go flying back. Other times it won't. It just doesn't make much sense to me. Some of the cars handle like toys. The vehicles, get destroyed in such weird ways. For a 2008 game, Saints Row 2 is much better. The police will just smash into you endlessly like it's an old GTA game until you explode. There's also, glitches where you're unable to take photos. Unable to complete activities, so you're unable to complete the map entirely. It's just annoying. I actually took off a whole point actually just for the glitches. And I took off 2 points also for the story because that just personally pissed me off. And the censorship, I'm taking off another point for that also. You know, even though it's just one restaurant, you know, freckle bitches, and then you have rim jobs, I'm taking that a whole point off on that because that's just ridiculous. That, like, you know, what is the point of doing that? Why couldn't you just keep the original title? Basically, they were trying so hard not to offend anyone that they ended up offending everyone in the end. And, you know, the devs insulting fans. You know, that's just pretty much it. Even though this isn't part of the game itself, it's just I wanted to add this onto the score because it's just how the developers just treated a lot of the fans. And it's just, you know, how can you be a developer, you know, a community manager, and you respond to people like that? If somebody that gives you valid criticism on why they don't like the new characters, and you say, haters gonna hate, you know, or you insult the fans also by calling it terroristic behavior? Seriously? Like I said, I don't support harassment of the developers, but there's legitimate criticism of the Saints Row reboot, and the developer can't see that. You know, do they, you know, if they really can't see that, then I don't really have any respect for them. I just don't. And what I'll say about this is that before this game was announced, the Saints Row community was pretty divided. It was. You have, you know, the hardcore, you know, Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2 fan base that like the old style of games. Then you have, you know, kind of the less hardcore, but more of the fan base that like the style of Saints Row the 3rd and Saints Row the 4th. They like the over-the-top action. And so both communities disagreed on, you know, what kind of game the new Saints Row should be. And so what the developer decided to do is they decided to try to attempt to do something like Saints Row the 3rd, but also do the over-the-top stuff. But then they decided to also throw in the cringy, you know, student loan stuff and, you know, these cringy characters that are not actual gangsters. You know, they try to do that. And so basically, for the first time in maybe a decade at this point, pretty much a decade, for the first time in a decade, the Saints Row community is almost completely unified. Because the vast majority of people that I've seen on both sides, the people that like Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4, and the people that like Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2, both sides of the community pretty much agree, most of them, that this is a bad game. And so congratulations, you have, you know, developers, you have united the Saints Row community that pretty much everyone hates this game, does not like this game. Whether it's the Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2 fan base, or the Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4 fan base, pretty much the vast majority of people do not like this game. And look, I don't think that this is the worst game in the world. You know, I think that there's even worse games than this one, but just for me personally, this was probably the most disappointing game that I have played in many years. I have played every single Saints Row game, every single one. And guys, I'm really sorry that this review is, you know, around 3 hours, but there was just a lot of things that I had to say in this. And I know I don't want people accusing me of being a hypocrite because I said last year that I wouldn't buy this game. But the reason I decided to end up buying this game is because I wanted to give it a fair chance, and I at least wanted to try it out, and just see, maybe I was wrong. I was hoping that I'd be wrong, hoping that, you know, that I could take the game seriously, hoping that the game would not have so many problems, but it did. And so this is, you know, pretty much a response to the people who would say, oh, before you criticize it, give the game a chance. Well, I did give the game a chance. I played through everything in the game, and I wanted to talk about pretty much everything in the game. That's why this review is 3 hours long. But my final verdict for this game, what is this game gonna get? I'm giving this game a 4 out of 10. Maybe, you know, maybe I would, maybe I would have given it a higher score if there wasn't at least those glitches. You know, the glitches at least. The glitches, you know, not being able to take those pictures, not being able to unlock that fast travel point, that really pissed me off, having to constantly drive over there or fly over there. It's just ridiculous. But I don't know, you know, what the future of Volition has, you know, anymore at this point. I'm really curious what the DLC is even going to look like for this game. They've been acquired by Gearbox Studios, and, you know, hopefully they get their crap together, and hopefully, you know, that community manager that just lashed at the fans and accused them of terroristic behavior for not liking the new game, hopefully she apologizes. Like I said, I don't want anybody to get fired. I don't want anybody to get canceled. I hate cancel culture so much that I don't even want the people I don't like to get canceled. But I think she should apologize at least. That she should at least do the right thing and apologize for making that statement. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, drop a like. It took me a lot of time to make it. I'm sorry it took me so long. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get this review out at 4 p.m. like I originally wanted. There was just so much stuff to do. But thank you guys for watching. Hope that you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think down below if you agree with me. And if you think somebody else will enjoy the review, please share it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.